What's up, everybody? Welcome to the After Chat. Let's have a little fun. As a reminder, if this is your first After Chat and you're like, I don't know what kind of song this is, where did this come from? This came from some individual on the radio. I recorded him, sampled him, made a song out of it. That's how that works. That's how I roll. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for clicking on the After Chat here on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and now Kick. I'm streaming to Kick, and there's nobody watching me over on Kick, I don't think. It says I'm not even online over there, so hey, who knows what's going on there? I don't know what the deal is on that website, but it's a thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we are here to talk about ham radio. And we can talk about the show topic, and I've got lots of things to do to fill the space. We're here for multiple hours, so this is more of a relaxed conversation because we're going to join my Discord. And on my Discord, there's going to be at least 50 other hams, possibly more. And we want to answer your questions. That's why we're here. So if you join us on the Discord, if you have to be listening to this after the fact, the best way to get involved in all this is stick around 5 p.m. when the show goes live. After the show, we do the After Chat. It goes from 6 p.m. until question mark, because, it's at least 2 hours. Let me put it that way. It's sometimes even more. But the idea is that we want to try and help out people get started in amateur radio. And also people who are in amateur radio and they just got stuck with something. They don't know the answer, or they're looking for a recommendation, or my favorite yet, how can I spend their money on their next amateur radio purchase? So here's what we do. All right. I'm going to click on the Discord right now. You're going to hear people talking. You're going to see their name, so you'll know if they're talking to you or whatnot, because we will answer your questions on YouTube and Twitch and everything else as well, because all of our chat rooms, they aggregate. They're all connected, right? So let's hop into the Discord, say hi to our friends, and start taking your questions, okay? Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Everybody's there, I think. I hope. I think we're good. Okay.
Yep. Hi, Josh.
How's it going, everybody?
Going well.
Excellent.
Pretty good.
Ooh, that was a hot mic. R something WWW. Oh, that's weird. Some of the names aren't fully loaded on the folks in here, but it's all right. We'll figure it out as we go. So appreciate you guys all watching the live stream and hanging out here for the After Chat. We like to go straight to newcomers. So if you are new to the Discord, joining us for the first time, we'd like it if you just said hi, introduce yourself. We give you a big thumbs up on that one. But if you have a question, a ham radio question, this is your opportunity to get your question right on top of the stack, get your answers, and move on with your ham radio journey. So anybody out there for the first time that would like to say hi or ask a question, come now.
Yep. Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm pretty new here. I've been following the streams for a while. I have one question about ham radios.
All right.
On the Battlefang UV5R, is there a way to connect that to get like SOS updates because of the wildfires around me?
Where do they transmit those SOSs on? Do you know what frequency they transmit on?
I tried to do research. Hold on, I'll pull up my phone. Give me a second.
So I think the short answer is probably going to be no. That you probably need something, and I'm learning more about this from Shane. You probably need something called a pager, a first responder pager. Those will do a lot more of that than what a Battlefang can do. Battlefangs are generally 2 meters and 70 centimeters only.
So the frequency for it was 462, 675.
So is it just an audio SSS or SOS, or is there like a digital component to it? Do you know?
I don't know because I tuned into it today, but there was no activity on it.
Interesting. Well, I guess that's good that there's no activity on it because that means nobody's calling SOS, right?
Yeah, I guess that's pretty good.
So does anybody in the chat know what potentially is going on there or are familiar with this? And this is for wildland fire, right?
Yeah, for wildfires, but I also had like the SOS weather ones there.
Well, yeah, so the Battlefang does not support weather alerts. It will listen to weather radio, though. You do have to program those channels individually, and I highly recommend you go watch my video that I posted a couple of months ago on programming your Battlefang quick and easy. I include those weather channels, and I show you how to add them to the skip list for scan, because you really only need 1 or 2 weather channels at any one time, because you can only hear 2 generally.
What do you mean by program? I already have... sorry, I was about to cough. I already have mine here. Actually, I have it in my hand. If you want, I can play it for you there. I just put it into the post. I think it's 162 or 75.
No, yeah, you can type it in all you want, but if you load it as a memory channel, then it will be a part of that memory list when it goes into memory mode.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I did that. I think I followed off your video or another guy's video.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's the same concept. That's all I'm mentioning. Yeah. So I think if you want that added capability for some of those like pager-ish messages, you need to look into what's called a first responder pager or have a scanner that does that stuff.
All right, thanks.
Excellent.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah. Oh, Smoking Ape's in the chat. I don't know if he's in the after chat, but we'll give him a shout out in a second if he shows up. We usually take a minute to say hi to YouTubers that are in the after chat. So if any show up, we'll make sure to say hi. Go ahead. Who is next? They said, "Hey, Josh, go for it."
This is Nathaniel, W1OLE. I just wanted to make a quick comment on the Battlefang. If they are transmitting FM messages, the Battlefang will receive on the 462. The 600 megahertz is going to be another story, but yeah, it will receive on the 462 megahertz. But you also have to bear in mind that is in the 70 centimeter range, so your range is going to be line of sight limited. You're going to have to be within a couple of miles of where they're emitting their signal from.
Yep. Well said. Well said. Good point. Very good. All right. Anybody else in there with first timers that would like to introduce themselves or say hi, or those that would like to ask a question? Come now.
Hello, name's Travis. First time being here. Actually, a friend sent me a link to the video you just did, and I watched the whole thing.
Oh, thank you, Travis.
And call sign is Kilo Juliet 5 Bravo Papa Echo. I literally just got it the 27th of last month.
Well, very good. Thanks for joining us. Well, first, thanks for saying hi. We appreciate that. Anything else you'd like to say? Do you have a ham radio question or anything like that?
What's good? Someone or some good place to send a radio for repair, because I've got a radio here that I am needing repaired.
Who makes the radio?
It is a Yaesu FT757GX.
You probably want to start by calling Yaesu, unless you know somebody that can help you out. I generally recommend people at least go to the company first to see what you're looking at. What's wrong with it, I guess, if you had an assumption of what's wrong with it.
Well, first off, what happened was the meter lights went out. I opened it to replace them, and it was working before that. And after that, it will try to come on. The fan will come on in it, and it'll just...
Nope. We lost you. You still there?
Yeah, I was just saying that it would come on for just a second. The fan light will come on, and then it'll just basically crap out.
So crap out is the technical term for shutting itself off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I didn't exactly know what to say besides I'm
No,
I'm a little,
no, I'm with you. When I hear crap out, I assume you mean shut off, like it goes dead, right? That's what you meant.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes dead,
Okay.
and other people have told me that it's a pinched wire somewhere, and I don't know myself. And I've looked at all the wires, and I can't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you
it's just,
are you a ham yourself, or possibly a member of a ham club?
well, like I said, I just got my license literally
Sure.
the 27th of
Oh.
last month.
Okay. All right. This is kind of one of those situations where, and I'll throw it to the chat to see if they have a recommendation of somebody that you might be able to ship it to. The thing is like, ultimately, you're going to have to ship it to somebody, right? That's knowledgeable about the radios. But if it's something trivial, then you might be best off finding a local ham. Ted's already hitting it. Yeah. Find somebody local. So you want to probably find somebody local that can help you out, possibly a ham club or whatnot. Because if you have to ship a radio, sometimes it's almost more than they're worth to do that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But yeah, there's a couple. There's one south of me, and there's I believe two north of me. I don't know entirely for sure. I know for sure there's one south of me
Mm-hmm.
because that's where I went and got my test took.
So the thing to keep in mind too is that some of these radios, almost all radios, have like quirks, particularly the older ones that have either developed over time or they were just kind of always known by the manufacturer. And yours could be that case. What you're experiencing is something that could be a known quirk that if you just called Yaesu up and said, hey, this is happening to me, they're able to say, oh, it's such and such wire over here. We get people that call us all the time, or they used to call us all the time on that radio. There was a question in the chat. Where are you located about? You don't have to tell me exactly, but, what city?
The closest city that people would know in my county of Arkansas is Jasper, Arkansas.
There you go. Anybody local to Jasper, Arkansas who could lend a hand? Reach out to our buddy Travis here. Well, you're in the right space as far as Discords go. We have a ham help section, and there are plenty of people who are more experienced than me on electronics. That's not my background. But if you were thinking about cracking the case and looking into it, you could probably get on a voice chat with people here, and they might be interested in seeing if they could help you debug it, at least to figure out what was going on. Otherwise, I would say try and reach out to somebody local that can help you.
No, I'm more than comfortable cracking it open.
Oh, we like that then. That's you
no,
should.
I've already cracked it open to change the meter lights.
That's true. So maybe join us. Go into the ham help group and say, hey, I'm in about an hour or so. I'm gonna get under the voice chat, and maybe you guys can help me out, or start talking to people who might be able to know more about that radio in particular. If you got a webcam, you can also point it at your radio, and they might be able to help you even more.
Can you read a schematic?
Well, yeah. Can you read a schematic?
To a point, yes. I mean, I'm still learning.
Sure.
But
I never want to assume anybody's background when they show up, right? Because that's why we ask these questions.
Actually, well, while in the chat, or the live chat, or the live stream while ago, I seen someone else that said they was backwoods of Arkansas, and they had their call sign in their name, and I looked it up, and they're actually fairly close to me, not too far, anyways.
Were you gonna say something, Don, or somebody else in there?
Well, I was just gonna ask if he's tried reversing out what he changed, just taking out like if you replace the lamps, take the lamps out, and possibly take the case off and leave the case off. Because if it's a pinched wire, I would assume that it would have been the case when you put it back on that pinched it.
Yeah. Also,
just to see
the fact that it will run for a little while and then just die, it possibly implies that there's some kind of short to ground somewhere that you have, and the pinch wire is a logical statement that somebody has made, but it could be lots of things, right? And so unless you're ready to go full hog on it and put a camera on it and show us what you're working with, it's going to be a little bit hard for us to diagnose it. Unless we got lucky and somebody has that radio and they're like, "Oh yes, that old problem that we're well versed on." But that's a little bit rarer, right?
Hey, I'm all for freaking turning on the camera of this phone and freaking, and yes, I have already attempted to take the LED lights that I was trying to put in back out.
Mm-hmm. Well, excuse me, man. We probably can't do that right now just for the sake of time and making sure we get other people's questions, but you're in the right spot. So maybe if you show people the work that you've done, take some pictures of it and post it in Ham Help and explain the issues you're having. Also, let's see, multiple people have dropped the information. Thank you, Chrissy, by the way. Chrissy has dropped the location for the Yaesu Service Center. You can call them. In fact, they're right in my backyard. Right? You can call them at 714-827-7600. Give them a buzz and just say, like, this is the problem I'm having. Maybe don't start off saying, oh, wait. Back out your problem. You backed out the problem. So call them up and how, maybe talk to them. Very likely they're going to come back and say, oh, you're going to have to ship it to us. Or, oh, that radio is kind of older now, so we may not, completely support it and whatnot. That's something that could happen.
Oh, I'm aware of that, and that's why I'm just like not even interested in shipping it and just trying.
I'm not proposing to ship right now. I'm saying, why don't you call them and see if they might be able to like help you a little bit over the phone before even talking about shipping it. I'm not proposing shipping it right now. Probably too much of a cost out of your pocket.
Oh, I'm already aware of that, and I've already contacted some repair places, and I'm just like, nope on the rates. It's like ridiculous.
Right on. So thank you. I appreciate you having a question. So I got a comment from Arizona Awesome Austin. Hosh Nazi. It's Nass. It's Hosh Nazi. And I get asked all the time, is that some kind of Nazi thing? No, it was when I was in college, I had a Japanese professor that couldn't say Josh Nass. He could not say Josh Nass. He would say Hosh Nazi. And that's where that name came from. So unfortunately, no, it's not a dog whistle. I used to, for anybody who doesn't know this, I used to do live streams with gun websites, Never Enough Ammo, and the Yankee Marshal, actually. We used to do a lot of live streams together. God, did that for years and years and years. And just over the course of time, having kids, and then the ham radio thing kind of blew up for me, particularly my channel. So I haven't done really any 2A live streams in a really long time. Also, I haven't really been invited. Things kind of changed at gun websites at the time, so it wasn't the same. Anyway, there's so much long history there. But yeah, no, I wish I was as active a shooter as I used to be. But primarily I do radios now. That's really what I do. But you take me shotgun shooting, and I'll show you what's what. I can bust some clays. That's my thing. All right, let's go back to the chat here. Anybody in the chat who's here for the first time that would like to say hi to us all and perhaps ask a question, go ahead.
This is Frank, KB4T. Can you hear me?
So Frank, I hear you, but your volume is so low. You gotta crank that sucker. It's like you don't have the amplifier turned on. It's like you don't have the PA turned on. It's like you're whispering in my ear.
Well, I'll see what I can do on my end to crank the audio up.
Do this. Hold on. Do this because you're all good on my end. Do this, Frank. Go ahead and just like restart everything. Shut Discord down. Possibly even restart your computer and come back. And then in Discord, if you go to the little settings, we'll be here. Don't worry. We're not going anywhere. We'll wait for you. Don't worry. Go to video and audio and make sure you got your input volume and output audio cranked on the application. and possibly your Windows audio settings. Yeah, see, you're Stealth Audio in honor of the live stream today. Instead of Stealth Radio, you're Stealth Audio. All right. Anybody else here for the first time like to say hi or ask a question? Go ahead.
Did this make a difference?
100% difference. What did you do differently, sir?
I just went to user settings and turned the volume up. The mic test is available, but I just set it to a higher level. Hopefully this is adequate.
Yeah, this is fine. Go for it, man.
Well, first I want to say that this is my first time actually speaking on Discord. And I admit this is not a particularly intuitive system for me, so it's been a bit of a struggle. But I have been listening and looking at your videos or watching your videos and listening to your live streams for probably 2-3 years now.
Oh, wow. Thank
you. Been a licensed amateur radio operator for close to 60 years.
Wow.
And I work for a large electric utility here in the state of Florida as a radio communication systems technician. And the one thing I do that I have the most fun with is power line interference investigation.
You are our best friend as a ham radio operator. Shout out to Frank for what you do, buddy. I appreciate that. We all appreciate what you do. Thank you. Go ahead, continue.
And I have helped a large number of hams here in the state of Florida.
I bet, man. Well, first of all, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you going through the effort of going through Discord. By the way, everybody watching, Discord link is in the description. Feel free to join us. So yeah, Frank, what's going on? I mean, I appreciate the accolades or the bona fides that you've provided, but how are you doing? So you've been a ham for 60 years. What's been the change in our whole community been like over those 60 years?
There's not enough time, and I'm sure there are many other people who who would like to comment on other things that are likely more interesting.
Well, let's ask you a spicy one then. So what do you think about all these YouTubers doing the ham radio videos?
Well, quite frankly, it's an enormously useful resource.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. That's awesome.
You can't have a conversation these days about home brewing something or making a modification or doing any kind of antenna work. My God, there must be 1 million YouTube videos on antennas.
Yep.
And your videos on various products and antennas have been most informative. And I've learned from you and from a couple of the other, shall we say, very well-known celebrities that are hams and YouTubes and so on, or YouTubers, and it's been quite interesting hearing the various opinions, which doesn't surprise me because ham radio operators have very widely varied opinions. The one thing that got me into the hobby, I was 14 years old when I got my ham license, and living up in the Northeast. And I wasn't a particularly popular teenager, but ham radio put me on equal footing with adults around the world. And
I like that.
They taught me, and as I grew and matured and became an expert in my own fields, I have been helping others, and I believe very strongly in paying it forward. The social aspects of amateur radio are incredible, and I've made, gotta be hundreds of friends over the years, and I've helped hundreds of amateurs in a wide variety of ways in my tenure as a ham. It's quite a hobby.
I agree, Frank. Man, gosh, I'm so glad you decided to hop into in the Discord. And yeah, Ted's already hit it. You got a great radio voice too, so I'm sure people really like it when they make contact with you. I got a question, and so this is, and I'll probably throw it back to the chat after this. Do you have like a really interesting story over your course of dealing with RFI, either with the power company or whatever, that you'd like to share if you've got one? Sorry to put you on the spot, but I find this fascinating.
Well, I've spent, before I even went to work for the utility, as an amateur radio operator, I was very actively involved in direction finding.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, when I went to work for the utility, and um, my colleagues in the first shop that I worked on made it clear that they hated doing interference investigations, principally because they had no interest in dealing with the public. The public
Right.
was challenging to deal with. I, on the other hand, had an extensive background in working with the public. So I said, I love direction finding and working with people. Let me do all of the interference work. And so that all those job tickets came to me. And over the last close to 19 years now, actually, I did just celebrate my 19th year with the utility.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Um, I've worked hundreds and hundreds of interference cases over the time. The most unusual interference cases that I've worked really had nothing to do with RF. People will, over the years, I've had probably a half a dozen cases where people have called the utility and they got referred to me because they were hearing the
Oh
power
no.
lines.
Oh no. I know where this is going. Do you get targeted individuals that call you up, Frank?
Not really.
Okay.
No, I surprisingly, I don't get more crackpots, but a lot of these folks genuinely were concerned about their health because they felt very strongly that they were listening or they could hear the power lines everywhere they went. And
Wow.
there was really very little that I could do to help them.
Right.
And I had one woman call me once, and she was convinced that the power lines were responsible for things that she was seeing inside her home, uh, like ghosts and apparitions and things of that sort. And that was a little odd. There was nothing I could do for her as well, and she cried over the phone into my ear and begged me to come help her, but there really was nothing I could do. I
Wow.
never heard from that person again, but those are some of the more challenging things that I have gotten asked to do over the excuse me, over the years.
Wow. Man, well, thank you for being out there for just all the hands across the board. We really appreciate somebody that's willing to investigate some of these problems, particularly for power lines, because as you know, when power line interference happens, it can be just devastating to our signal. Like we can't really use our radios, right? They're deafened by it. So the fact that you're out there putting in the good fight, and it's good for the power company too. It's good for everybody if you're out there making sure the lines are straight and mechanically secure. So thank you for that, Frank, and thank you for joining us on the Discord. I appreciate that.
I don't get many opportunities to do this, but when I can, I certainly will. I do want to say one thing with regard to power line interference.
Please.
In my experience over the many years, I have found interference sources which most people wouldn't think about. Things like modern day switching power supplies, battery chargers, a lot of junk electronics and plasma TVs and things of that sort that um, caused as much interference as devices out on poles or buried in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell this group here that over the years I've replaced maybe 8 or 10 transformers. That's all.
Yeah.
Out of hundreds and hundreds of cases. Transformers are rarely ever sources of interference. Interestingly, also, at least here in Florida, transmission lines are rarely the high lines, as we call them, are rarely ever sources of interference. In my work here in Florida, the most common source of power line interference is lightning arresters on poles and mounted on transformers. Those fail. They're designed to fail.
Right.
Unfortunately, when they do fail, they become spark plugs. And spark plugs will create spectrum blanketing interference.
Very good. Yeah.
So when I tell hams, and I speak to ham clubs around Central Florida, which is where I'm based, and when I do, I encourage them to work on their direction finding skills and equip themselves, especially the clubs, put together an interference locating kit, so to speak, made up of devices that will give directional indications of where interfering signals are coming from. And to create a committee of people who enjoy doing that sort of thing. And in so doing, we'll be able to more rapidly resolve power line interference problems.
Well said across the board. I agree with you, and I think honestly, I think you're 100% correct. Like, I have not been the nicest to a lot of the local ham clubs. I think there's obviously really good ones. Some of them get set in the ways, and they don't really adapt to the newer communities, the newer hams, and particularly the newer ham activities like Parks on the Air. But where I agree with you whole cloth is I think ham clubs should do exactly what you're saying and adopt this policy of helping hams to hunt down local RFI and having the appropriate tools to do that. That is where their service in being local and present and there is, you can't replace that. You can with lots of money, but then that ham has to spend a ton of money to do that, and it's just not feasible for a lot of people. Man, I love that. Yeah, maybe we should do that in the future. I don't know. I mean, Frank just joined us on the Discord. So, Frank, feel free to hang out on the Discord. But I've already got people asking me to invite you on the stream as a guest to talk about interference and how we hunt it down and all that stuff. So maybe I'll send you a direct message and we can chat after the show.
I'll be happy to talk with you about that. I have done that sort of thing in the past. Most of my presentations have been to ham radio clubs and small local civic groups, but I'll be happy to consider going on the show.
Oh, well,
thank you.
I love that. Oh, man, Discord, bringing people together. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate you joining us, and feel free to jump in if we run into any issues and share your knowledge with us. Okay. Anybody else out there that would like to, that has joined us for the first time, we're still doing that, right? Who's joined us for the first time, they'd like to say hi, introduce themselves, and if they have one, ask a question. Go ahead, come now. All right, well, no problem. We can come back to y'all as we continue to go here. So, let's talk about the show topic.
It's working now.
Oh, yes, it's working. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you. We'll just call myself Heb for now. I'm from VK Landing, Australia. I just passed my foundation license.
Love our VK Land friends, so appreciate you joining us, man. Like
your
avatar
just started
as well.
Yeah. Just started my advanced license, so I'm not too sure. So I'm basically, it's US equivalent to skipping the technician, going straight to advanced.
Right. So how's it going, man? Thanks for joining us.
Well, I passed my foundation one. That was a pretty easy one. Going to have the call sign coming in the mail, but I definitely want that higher power to play with. So
that's right. So do you have a question, or are you just saying hi?
Oh no, I just want to know what 3D printer you got, because I used to work through a 3D printing seller. That's why I basically tuned in. I want to hear all about how you learned 3D printing and all the troubleshooting stuff you had.
Okay, so I will not go too deep into the backlog of my history with 3D printing, but I will tell you the printers that I've owned. So I had a Tico. Does anybody know what a Tico is?
That sounds ancient.
3D printing old schoolers would know a Tico. It was an old Delta. Is that what they call it? The three-legged one? It was advertised as being the $100 3D printer that was Kickstarted. It was on Kickstarter. Okay. piece of crap, total junk. Then I upgraded to a Prusa clone, and this is like a Prusa 2 Mark II clone, I think. Had a ton of problems with that. So then I got a Fusion, a Creator Pro by Fusion Labs, which was an enclosed unit, so I could do ABS. Lots of problems with that one, particularly bed leveling. It was a nightmare. And then I decided, after just bashing my head against the wall trying to make a print work, that I was going to go start research. And this is like over a month ago. Start researching the new hotness in 3D printing. Now, I want everybody to like understand. I approached 3D printing as a hobbyist. I was going to use it as a hobby item, so I was okay buying a cheaper printer, printing parts and improving my station as I went along, just like we would do with amateur radio. Like buy an inexpensive radio and then buy like add-on parts like a tuner, upgrade my antennas, all that stuff. The same things apply to 3D printing. So I was like, yep, I was all down for that, and that was my game. So Dad's RC workbench is really close. He's really close. After a ton of videos and looking up online, I almost bought the Bamboo X1. But the X1 and the X1 Carbon were too expensive. And then Bamboo said, hey, how about $100 off the P1P? So the P1P is $600 right now, and it has all the features you'd want, the cutting-edge features that you'd want on a printer that turns it into a tool. Just like those GMRS guys, like Randy would tell you, I don't want to make radio my hobby. It's a tool. So that's how 3D printing is to me. It's a tool. So I bought the P1P, and I have already like blew through a spool in like a week of just having it and just building, like printing things for the family that they've wanted me to build for years at this point. And there are some upgrades that I'm going to do. Like I'm going to add the chain connector for the data cable for the print head, and relocate the tube for the filament. And I could print an enclosure if I want. I could do all kinds of other stuff, but I'll find the link. This is a little bit earlier than I wanted to. It's the Bamboo P1P. It's $600. That is an unheard of price for what you're getting for that printer. It is insane what you're getting for it. So I don't know if that's it. Are you super excited or are you super depressed by my answer?
That sounds pretty good. The stuff I was selling back in my day was the flash forward stuff for education spaces. So very similar printer to what you got. Very reliable.
Yeah, it's incredibly reliable. And is it? Yeah, it's still on sale. So if you're interested in this is actually a tool. Like this is a ham radio tool. If you just want to print the cool things that Adam K60RK does, your prints will likely end up a little bit better than his. It's a really good printer. It's a really good printer. Yeah, Micro Center does have the Bamboo. They do have the P1P.
Bed leveling?
Bed leveling, yes. Yes, Don.
Yeah, no, that's the worst part of the whole damn thing for me.
Yeah, that's on my current 3D printer. I got the auto bed leveling, and it makes the life you just set it up and it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I just want to buy one and everything's done. You put it together and it just works.
You would love the P1P. You would love the P1P, Don. I'm telling you.
Well, I want one of those ones that's more taller and does the three-dimensional printing.
Oh,
have you seen those?
You're talking like an acrylic print, or what do you mean?
No, it's still 3D printer.
Oh, the ones that's on the conveyor belt, the conveyor belt one.
Yeah, but it's a dual conveyor belt.
Yeah. There are a couple that do that. In fact, I can't talk about that otherwise it's work related.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the laid down 3D printers that will print on a conveyor belt. Those are really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jim's got one it's actually, I don't think it runs that $600, and it works really, really well. And I'm talking about Jim, like FEP Labs Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sean's got like 4 of them, like Ham Radio Dude, and
oh yeah, he has
and
to.
he prints all the freaking time. And for me, if I let it sit for a few weeks, which I don't print that much, but when I do print, it always messes up at least the first 2 or 3 prints, and I never understand exactly because I don't do anything any different, and then all of a sudden it works. I have a creality, so I'm sure that's part of it, but it's just and all the measuring and the getting the calipers and all of the measuring tools and building out all of that stuff, that is a whole nother hobby.
There are a lot of people who are, Ham Radio Hef in particular, does not like Bamboo because they do have some security things they're dealing with. And it is an internet-connected printer, so it does use their interconnect service. That's how it connects to the camera that's on the printer and to pass the files to the printer. So for some people, again, look it up. Look up the videos. There are plenty of critical videos that people have made on it. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. For me, it's exactly what I want. It's a tool. I'm using it as a tool.
I was about to say, the 3D printing landscape is broad and vast. There is a printer for you.
Yeah, honestly, the Prusas are still they're still totally solid, and they just came out with the Mark IV. Absolutely, if you don't want to deal with the stuff that Bamboo's got going on, but at the same time, like Bamboo has taken features that really only exist on like the much more expensive printers, and they've brought it down to that P1P. You can print an enclosure for it. So if you want to do ABS plastics generally require a closed enclosure to be able to do it. You can print it. You can print the arms for it and just add the paneling, the plastic paneling or the plexiglass paneling to it, and that's it.
Yeah. Having the enclosure also will keep it from getting, like, mine sits under an air conditioning vent and apparently and a heater vent, of course.
Sure.
And that will cause the prints to go south on you, and having the enclosure will keep that from happening. So it's more than just, for that one type of deal. Just even regular PEP or whatever it is will have that problem if the temperature of the air changes during the print.
Yes, that is true. If you have like big gusts in some cases, but also that depends on the printer and there's so many aspects that go into printing. There's so many aspects to it. But at the same time, like generally, if you want a printer that just prints, like just is a tool, you're looking at like $1,000 plus to be able to get into that range. And the fact that you can pick up something that is very much like that for $600 is unheard of in this space. It's truly different. It is truly different.
And one that you can leave the spool on for weeks at a time without printing and go back and hit the button and it just prints.
Well, that's a humidity thing. That's not the printer's fault. That's the
but I don't
filament's
I don't
fault.
want to reload the filament every freaking time I need to print.
So they make filament heaters that will take the moisture out of the filament, and you can put them in there. I'm unsure the Bamboos. Many have this. They have an enclosed capsule that you put the filament in that will keep it at a constant humidity. It'll raise the temperature to keep the humidity off of it. But entirely your problem, particularly in Texas with the humidity, is totally based off of the humidity. It's not the printer's fault. It's the material. It's the filament.
Yeah, I always thought that it was drying out there. That's what I think.
No, you
Sean
want
told
it
me.
dry. You want to keep it at a certain temperature that keeps the moisture out.
Well, have you ever had it go dry and brittle, and then it doesn't pull?
The brittle is the opposite. The brittle is from moisture getting in most of the time.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I literally have a heater that I put my active spool in, or my spool that I'm going to roll to next, that dries out the spool and gets all the moisture out. So if you ever hear your like printer making little popping noises as the filament's going into the heated head, that's because of moisture.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I have heard that. And that's the thing. I mean, I don't use mine that much, and basically what I'm going to do with it is print something that somebody else has, designed, and okay, this looks neat. Let me grab it and print it. But I don't do that often. And one thing I've not heard is, okay, if you are going to leave the spools for weeks or months at a time, how would you actually store them, even if you did take them off?
Yeah, you get a like a box that seals good. Like, it doesn't have to be like an O-ring sealed box, but a decently sealed box, and you get like a bunch of packets of desiccant, and you throw them in there with all the filament,
okay.
and the desiccant will soak up the moisture and leave your filament dry. You should definitely do that if you're going to leave filament for any amount of time. Put it in a desiccant box.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the old bags that do not eat.
Go ahead.
I mean,
just get the old bags do not eat from your local luggage store. They usually have a pile of them.
Yep.
Oh, I got a ton of them. I get medicines, lots of medicines, and every one of them has one of those things in it.
Yeah, if anybody's interested, you can actually reuse desiccant packages by putting it in the oven at a low temperature, and it will take the moisture out of the desiccant so that you can reuse them. Most of the filament spools that you buy are like vacuum packed with the desiccant in there. Don't open that unless you're going to use the spool. Leave them in there. But once the spool comes out, keep that desiccant pack, because there's a really large desiccant pack, and you can actually reuse them if you put them in the oven. It'll pull the moisture out of them, and you can reuse them. So there's all kinds of cool little hacks. I've been involved in this space for well over a decade at this point. But yeah. So yeah, I've made 3D printing videos on my channel about ham radio, and I never told you other than the Prusa, having known many people with proper Prusas, like the real company, not the clones. You don't want a clone, a proper Prusa. I've always said they're good, but this is the first printer I can recommend. I really do like it. If you're okay with the security stuff, which go look that up. I don't think it's as bad as Hef is saying. Hef, and again, I know you didn't mean to derail. From my security posture, I find that letting them see the prints that I'm going to make is okay. Now, if I start making lowers, that's a whole different ball of wax. I guess. That's a whole separate thing. But we could talk about that on a different live stream.
Unless you're doing government work or corporate, top corporate stuff,
sure,
you don't mind.
Yeah,
it's basically if you're printing cats, you don't mind China knocking, you'd be fine.
But what if my cat is an AR-15 lower?
I'm pretty sure the Chinese government has that on file. You'll be fine.
They're fine. Yeah, it's just a knockoff Hello Kitty that's on it.
And I'm sorry, which one of those prints chocolate?
What's that?
You ever seen those 3D printers that actually print chocolate, or they print candy?
I have. Yeah, I've seen those before, but yeah. So ham radio Hef, you're good, man. I respect the guy who's, just because you're paranoid, that doesn't mean they're not after you. I get it, man. I know. I'm just kidding. I know you're not like that. Anyway, but yes, I support. I support what you're saying, and I appreciate you giving me a good comment on that. And that was something I weighed in my head. Do I care that much about the security aspect of it? And I do to a point, but I also want it to be a tool. It's a freaking tool. A 3D printer in today's age, if you pay X amount of dollars, it should just be a tool. You put the print on, or you make the model. And by the way, I highly recommend you start looking at something like Fusion 360. You get Fusion 360 really cheaply. There's multiple discounts you can find. I have a copy of it that I've used on my battery box that I built for turning a drill battery into a ham radio battery using a buck converter. That was a project I made. Obviously, Adam, K6ARK, and Ham Radio Dude, they all make their own models for products that Ham Radio Dude sells, and K6ARK sells as well, and they're good stuff, really good stuff. So that's definitely a future of ham radio is 3D printing.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And
when
another thing I was going to say is with desiccant bags, if you're not going to use them, vacuum seal them helps too.
That's a great point. Yeah. Well, put your whole filament back in a vacuum bag and vacuum that thing up too. The filament wants to be dry. Filament always wants to be dry. So I'm looking over my corner at the printer because it's in the ham shack with me. And I am printing a 10-hour print of Bowser from the movie, Mario Brothers movie, singing Peaches with the piano right now for Edison, who really loves that song. He plays it all the time. So that is printing right now.
And we all use Octoprint, right?
No, I don't. I use the slicer that works for the bamboo.
Oh, I love Octoprint.
Octoprint's good. Jamscan just got here, and he wants to know what printer I bought. I bought a Bamboo P1P. That was the printer I bought. It is everything I wanted in a printer. The first print that I made was a next generation Cobra head phaser. Not for me. Ben, my oldest son, asked for that, and I was like, "Son, I'm very proud." So I printed him that Cobra, the Cobra head, had it all printed and put it on the table for him, the pieces, because it has to be assembled, and he was chuffed as chips, as the British would say.
And you're going to do the 15-meter Moxon next, right?
Yeah, that's right. Digital Dreamer, you don't have to have a lot of room for a 3D printer, but I'll say this, and I don't want to turn this into a 3D printing chat. I'll make a video on it, I promise. So the reality with 3D printers is they are actually really susceptible to the room they're in, particularly if they're not in an enclosure like a door and they're sealed all the way around. It is nice if you put them in a room that's temperature controlled, and if it's a little bit warmer in that room, that's fine. So for me, the Ham Shack is much more on the warmer side, and that's paid dividends. This printer in particular, I have very little problems with bed adhesion is one of the large issues that people have when it comes to printers, and this one has been no problem. It might even finish while we're live right now, and if it does, I'll pull it off. This is a big print because it's got a lot of supports. So, yes, I like it. Wait, where is that? Let me go back to the. Oh boy. Right now, I'm printing Picatinny mounts for my GoPro and Insta360. I like it. I can support that. All right, let's go back to the chat. Anybody here still, after all that 3D printer talk, that would like to say hi or ask a ham radio question? If you're first timers, that's great, but we'll open it up to anybody. Anybody with a question, go for it.
Yeah, hi, I have a question.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you being here. Go for it.
So, long-time listener, first-time caller, so to speak. A little bit of a confession.
Okay.
I was actually here a week or two ago, but I only caught like the last like 5 minutes of it. So if that still counts as a first time, then I should be good, right?
You're good, man. It counts.
Okay.
I'll give you the point. You're good.
Cool. So, I'm a newly minted technician. I got my license over in February, and I just had I'm beginning to look more into the long range stuff.
Yeah.
And with a technician's license, I can really only use 6 meter. So I was just, before I go and spend, a couple $100 on an actual 6 meter radio, I was wondering, what's the viability of that? Is it worth getting into 6 meter just to have, or is it, will I actually hear anything?
I'll open it up to the chat and I'll let them talk about it. But I don't want to say 6 meters is the rich hams band, but it kind of feels like that sometime. Because it's not open very often. The 6 meter band, like those big openings that we talk about, like the one that just fortuitously we had on the VHF UHF contest day, we had a massive opening. I was able to talk across the country on 6 meters. Ask me the amount of times that I've had the antenna on my roof that I had that capability. 2, 3. Right? It's just not. It's just not that often. It's just not that often from California to Florida on 6 meters. So it's a super cool band when it's open. It is amazing, but you almost have to like turn that into its own hobby within the ham radio hobby. So most of the time, I would tell people, particularly for the next 3 or 4 years, 10 meters is going to be just amazing for you during the day, and even into the night, particularly 2025, it's going to be really peaking. You're going to have a great time on 10 meters as a technician. That would be where I would focus my time, not 6 meters, if you ask me. That would be my personal point of view. Go ahead. Let's open it to the chat.
Yeah, but a radio that does 6 or 10, if you get the right radio, will also do 6. And in Texas, 6 is open literally from May through mid-July, and just anywhere and everywhere. And it's a fun band to just check almost every day. And all you got to do is go to FT8, unfortunately, but you go to FT8, and if you're seeing signals on FT8, just about all the time, they're from somewhere in the country you're not expecting, at least here in Texas. Now, I understand because I don't check in the winters, but in December, January, it also supposedly opens up. So about twice a year. And then, of course, at any time. Yeah, it's working. And then the 10 is coming up, and we will have it for a few years. And it's also a great band. And both of them are technician. And for HF, you should really get on both of them. Guarantee you'll get hooked, and we'll get you to upgrade to general.
So I think I'll step in before I open it back up, because I will say this, because I think Don's on the right path here. There really isn't a reason you have to pick one over the other. Most of the HF radios that'll do single sideband will do both most of the time. So you don't have to decide. And also, both of those bands, the antennas are much smaller than a comparative 20-meter antenna or, like a 40-meter antenna. So it's really not too much energy or money in that case to build a 6-meter or 10-meter antenna. But yeah, I don't know. We're going to be really good with 10 meters for the next 3 or 4 years, and then it's going to die off significantly. 6 meters will still have the random openings, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Somebody's going to say something. I'll let you go.
I was wondering if I could. It's Shane. I was wondering if I could jump in here real quick.
Oh, for Shane, I don't know. Should we let Shane in here? Should we let him? No, of course.
Hey,
Shane. Of course, buddy. Go ahead.
From 45 miles south of Fairbanks, Alaska. Yes, please.
Wow. All right, go for it, man.
Yeah, I'm at Harding Lake, Alaska right now, and it is 78 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, and I just did my first Parks activation from Alaska.
Oh, you didn't hop on here and tell us? We were pointing our beams at you. Are you still activating or are you done?
Dude. The HF conditions here are not the best because of the auroral circle.
Sure.
But I worked Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Massachusetts, Washington State, and it's beautiful up here.
Excellent, man.
So I just wanted to real quickly say hi to everyone from Harding Lake, 45 miles south of Fairbanks, Alaska.
Right on, dude. I appreciate that.
Of course you would work in Arkansas when I ain't got a station set up.
I can't guarantee that I would hear you because a lot of the signals were very weak. But it's nice up here.
Take it easy, Chrissy. We'll see you later. Well, Shane, thanks for hopping in there. I appreciate it. What are your thoughts on 6 meters? How often are you on 6 meters there, Shane?
I have never, you know what? I honestly, I've never used 6 meters. I've never used it.
That was almost a trick question. I knew that you were probably not very active on that band.
Yeah. I think I've done it once or twice with my SS-17 on the back of my car, but I want to get on 6 meters. I really do.
Yeah. Kim K6YYL live stream 6 almost every day from California.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we'll be flying back on Friday, so once I get back to Cali, I'll have to go to try. Yeah,
I've listened to her stream, and I do admit there's not nearly as much there as there is here. It's active all the time here, during those months.
It's not the same out here. It's a more quiet band.
Well, we're in the middle of the country too, so.
But when I can do it, I can hit Australia from here on 6 meters. I've done that before.
Yeah,
Rarely, super rare, but it's possible.
Yeah, this friend of mine has, and he's gone to a 6-element 6-meter beam, but he works all over the world on 6. He worked a bunch of Japan the other day, which is real unusual for us because we don't have much ocean between us,
Right.
us and them. I mean,
Well,
at least for takeoff.
So let's go to the chat. Anybody in there that wants to talk about 6 meters or their use of it versus 10 or otherwise? Go for it.
Well, if I can jump in here for just a second, Josh, I have a recommendation for the gentleman that's interested in this. And again, I agree with you. I highly recommend 10 meters. As a technician, there's only a very small portion of the band that you can use, but you know, like has been said, 10 is open right now and will be for the next couple of years. Also recommend that on Monday afternoon, Josh, you might know what time Mike K8MRD does his 10-meter calling all technicians live stream.
I believe that's Tuesdays. Tuesday early afternoon, right?
3 o'clock Central Standard.
Okay, for me it's afternoon, but
That's
it's
afternoon.
Tuesdays, right?
Yep, Tuesday.
That's 2 hours, so it's still early afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, definitely check him out.
Very good. Yes, I agree with you. Sorry, there was somebody in there that was trying to join us. What was that comment? Go ahead. Oh, somebody was on the mic.
I said technician for 10.
Go ahead, Trav.
Sorry, technician for 10 is 28.3 to 28.5.
Yeah, no, we weren't disputing that. I'm just saying that you do get a lot of space actually for a technician on 10 meters.
Oh, I know. I was just saying that if you was wondering what it was and stuff.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
They get digital on 6 and 10 too, right? FT8.
Yeah, that's about 50.313. I think is a digital.
Yeah.
Some of it. We can look. Actually, I don't remember.
I gotta hop out, guys. Dinner's ready. I just wanted to say hello real quick while I'm up here in Alaska.
Shane, have fun, man. You deserve it. Enjoy yourself. Take it easy.
Oh man, you're too kind. Thanks, Josh.
All right, take it easy.
7-3 all.
So Shane is the person who got me to buy a Motorola radio. So there you go. That's Shane. And we'll probably be talking to him in the future about some other things, other goodies. So right on. All right. Anybody else in there that would like to say hi? First timers that have been waiting, that would like to say hi or ask a question, come now. Otherwise, I'm going to open it right up.
If I could pop back in, I just want to say thanks. Thanks all good information. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right. Nothing heard. So
I've got a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Rick, Victor Echo 2 X-Ray India Papa. My question to the group is: does anybody have experience or can point me in a direction on a fractal HF antenna?
I can't. I don't. Fractal antennas are generally more often than not used in like space comms. We use fractal antenna technology for putting them on, space vehicles, flight vehicles.
Yeah, we use them in telecom. And so they're for those higher frequencies.
Yeah, they're not generally for HF.
Yeah, what I'm seeking is any HF fractal antenna that do exist commercially or not, because I'm well aware of the gigahertz and the cell phone frequency use of fractal, but I was wondering if anybody experimented with fractal designs on HF.
Not that I know of.
Wrong, but they'd be prohibitively large.
Yeah, they'd be huge. Right, because you don't get away from... You're not getting away from the reality of the length of wire needed. You cannot evade that through fractal antennas. Fractal antennas are generally designed to provide gain in a certain direction. They're not designed to allow you to electrically shorten the antenna, at least to some appreciable measure. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
It does. Thanks.
Unfortunately, sorry. Nope, you still got to go to the Home Depot and buy yourself a foot of 100-foot wire to build your antenna for HF. All right. So wheels are off. Let's talk about any questions in ham radio from anyone. Come now. Let's just have an open discussion.
I got a question about Long Island CW Club, if there are people familiar with it in the chat.
Yeah, go for it. And I've got another question lined up here I'll get to. Tractor Poodle Hangout.
I got a question. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, 1 second. Let's go back to the question in the Discord, and then we'll come back to YouTube, and then back to Discord. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I signed up, and I'm trying to kind of figure out, how to join, when to join. They have the beginning carousel. Do you just hop into one of the Zoom meetings? Is there, like, sign-ups? It's not super clear.
Yeah, so the best thing I could recommend is make sure that you have the website groups. You're on their groups.io, because they post their weekly schedule there, and then you can take any one of those links and you can join directly into any of those classes. And the cool thing about the Long Island CW Club is it doesn't matter which class you go to, even if it is well beyond your capability. In fact, I found in a lot of the classes I went to that sometimes just going to one of those like upperclassmen classes is actually really interesting as far as, stuff that you can pick up. You're not going to be able to like grow necessarily in your CW receiving capability because it's not targeted to you, but it's really cool, a lot of the stuff you can do. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Right on. All right, so here's a question from Tractor Poodle on YouTube, and then we'll go back to Discord. I live in Bangkok. Sorry for the newbie question. What would be a good basic kit for emergency communications between here and the same kit in the UK? Ooh, buddy. I got some bad news for you, man. It's probably a satellite radio. So the reality is, and let's try and talk through this as much as possible. Being in Bangkok, Thailand, and wanting to talk to the UK consistently, like every time you want to, that doesn't really exist, right? Because we are at odds with the propagation of our atmosphere, of what they allow, right? So you would have to have a very high gain antenna for whatever band you're doing pointed towards that location, and propagation could change. Yeah, you can go short path. 9,600 kilometers is short path. That's not impossible. So Jody's literally posting in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, you're not seeing the images right now. That's short path over land, though, and 9,600 kilometers is kind of difficult consistently. See, that's the thing that, reiterate consistently. You would have to have a very specific antenna system built to be able to do it. And in my time, I don't know of one that would do that, and it's because of the propagation of our atmosphere. Our atmosphere doesn't allow consistent communication. That's why we have things like satellite radios. Also, you probably should use digital modes or Morse code, would be my guess. Directional antenna with a big amp. Yeah, that pretty much requires it. But he was looking for a kit, like a basic kit. It doesn't really exist to be able to do that, to be honest. Does anybody want to correct me though in the Discord? Go for it. I stand to be corrected. Oh, nothing heard. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one, man. I apologize. That is a hard road to hoe, as we say. All right, who is next on the YouTube? Go for it with your question. Did we lose him?
Well, I think that was me that tried to
Yeah,
chime in earlier. Are you hearing me now?
We are. Go for it. Oh, We heard you. I'm hearing you now. Go for it.
All right, I still have a delay, so I don't know what the heck's going on, but
Yeah,
I'll try.
Wait. The delay is don't watch me on YouTube. Listen to me on Discord. You're in the Discord. Listen on Discord.
Oh, I'm dumb.
That's the delay. If you're watching me on YouTube, you're hearing me seconds after all the folks in Discord hear me. So listen to me on Discord. Don't listen on YouTube. Now you got it, right? Did you get it?
Right. So what I'm doing here is I just got my general today. I am looking to get my first HF transceiver, and I'm wondering if this is it a thing where it's better to kind of like buy something cheap and tinker with it, or am I better off buying something factory new and have something good to start with?
Okay, can you hear me instantly, or are we still delayed?
Still delaying. I'm still messing around with my Discord to try and make that work.
Okay, so you got to fix that first before we can continue, because otherwise this is going to be way too long. So you go ahead. Okay, you should not hear me on a delay on Discord.
Sounds good.
You should not hear me on a delay at all. So you should be able to go into your settings and make sure that your audio is piped into whatever your earbuds are doing. Otherwise, I cannot have this conversation. It's going to take too long. There's too much back and forth between us. I need you to be able to hear me, but mute YouTube.
Wait, how's it now?
YouTube. Can you hear me?
I think I got it.
Can you hear me?
You got me now?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You heard that? Straight up?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, good. Okay, we got it. You got it. All right.
Jeez, Windows audio settings, man.
Yeah. All right. So here's the big thing. How much you want to spend on all this?
So just for like the transceiver, I'm good spending like 1,000, 1,500 kind of range.
Oh,
which is
okay.
Why I was wondering, like, should I blow all that as a brand new general, or?
Well, so that's why I said for the radio, right? Like for this, not the antenna, not the power supply. I don't want to know what your entire budget is. I want to know what your budget is for the radio, because you still got to buy all that other stuff, right?
Yes, that's right.
So $1,500 is the top
for the radio, for the top.
Man, the world's your oyster then. Like you got a ton of base entry level HF radios that you can go nuts with. You can even go to the FTDX10, the Yaesu radio, which is number 2 on the Sherwood report for receive capability. You have tons of options, tons, literally.
It's only $1,000.
Paul, you're a little low. Your audio is way lower than it normally is.
Way lower.
Oh, whatever you did there, maybe it was the mic moved or
yeah,
something.
but I think it was the mic. The 7300 is only $1,000.
Yeah, 7300, 710, FTDX10. You have a ton of options, and you could. Well, but do you want a base station radio? Is that what you're looking for? Or what are you looking for exactly?
Yeah, I'm just looking to set up a shack upstairs in my house. I was looking at the 710, the FT10DX, and the ICOM. And it seems like no matter which one I pull up reviews for, everybody's like, yeah, this one's good, the others suck. Like,
no, yeah. So they're all good. They're all good. The 7300 is a bit older now, so I don't think there's anything wrong with saying the Yaesu options are totally fine. Unless you are absolutely allergic to their interface, which some people are, not everybody. How far are you away from a DX Engineering Gigaparts or ham radio outlet? How far away are you?
About 2 hours.
Oh, go. I mean, okay. So if it were me, I would drive to one of those stores and go hands-on with all those radios and decide with your fingertips. Decide by using them. Buy it right there and walk out the door a happy person. That would be my recommendation.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I cannot understate the importance of you liking the interface of the radio that you're about to drop $1,000 on. We collectively as a human species all think about the interface when we buy a laptop and we spend $1,000 on that. The radio should be no different. In fact, it's probably more important that you like every little bit of that thing, because you're going to be touching those dials and buttons more than you're just typing on a keyboard. And a lot of keyboard stuff is fairly forgivable, but not with the radio. If you hate the VFO, that's it. Like, yeah, please go in person, go look at the radios, go try them out. That's the decision maker.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you
yeah,
can get
if you're willing to put the
Go ahead.
money out.
Go ahead, Nathaniel. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, if you're willing to put the money out up front to buy something new and buy one of the higher end radios, then go ahead and do that. Because if you get something temporarily, if you buy something used, you're just gonna end up down the line deciding that you want to upgrade, and you'll wind up spending more money in the long run.
That's a good point.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of why I asked, because there's some hobbies where they say like, yeah, don't buy something nice right off the bat, buy something cheap. So that's kind of what I wanted to know.
The sad reality of the base station radios is like $1,000 is the entry point in the hobby. To be honest, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are ways to beat that, but I wouldn't do it unless you're a little more experienced ham than what you are right now. Just spend the $1,000 and get something, and I honestly would avoid the OVF Lite, but that's my personal beef. But
yeah. How far are you out of Huntsville?
Me, I'm in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's so. What's Milwaukee? You're talking about Milwaukee?
Yeah, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
For ham radio
so
outlet.
that's a good store to go to. They got everything. That's a huge hub for ham radio outlet right now. So yeah, that's a good spot to go to.
That's
good for
to
you.
hear.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Here's a really good question. Actually, let me do this first. Somebody asked me in the chat, what is the recommendation that I have for a technician 10-meter radio? And I'm talking 10-meter only radio for a technician, right? I recommend the Anytone AT6666. It's $260. You get 60-ish watts of power output. That's the radio. $260 mono band 10 meters. It's actually not that bad. Much better than that Radiodity one that I reviewed. So yeah, that's what I would say. All right.
No.
Go ahead, Don. You're gonna say
I was thinking that when you reviewed the Radiodity one, it was the 5555, but it wasn't. It was their version of that same radio.
No,
I don't.
The Anytone 6666 is much different from the Radiodity.
It's still
radio.
Channelized though.
No, it's not.
I thought you had to build the channels.
Not the Anytone. No. The Anytone's a VFO.
Oh, okay, but yeah, the VFO is clunky though, right?
It's clicky.
Yeah, no,
it's clicky.
Yeah.
It's clicky.
I like my HTX 10. Thanks. Radio Shack did it right.
$260, half the price of a G90 for 60-watt output. It's not. I mean, hey, I'm not
pay that much for my ATX 10, but that was 30 years ago.
I'm gonna do. Yeah, we have to put this all into perspective, right? Like you
have to be practical.
Sorry,
yeah,
it was the HTX 100.
No, you're not, Don. You're not wrong. It's just, it's sometimes. I mean, you got to put yourself into the shoes of other folks, right? Like some people just have $300. That's what they got, and they are a technician.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it. Like that is the best one in that space. The other ones are not good. Like literally not good.
I don't know, for that kind of money, why not a G90?
That's $200 more.
Oh, that's a $200
$260, Don.
So it's $100 more for a G90.
It's $450.
Sometimes they are.
Well,
a lot of times they're $399.
Well, sure, and this one is on sale sometimes too. I'm Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not against you, Don. I'm with you. I'm just
No,
saying
no,
that there is a
I
price
know, I know.
difference, right? There's a price difference
Right,
that we
right.
have
There
to.
is.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? If you buy one of these monoband radios, realistically, you're going to drop $260, and it's going to be really good for you for the next 3 to 4 years. In that time, you're going to be pretty much locked to 10 meters. That's just the reality of it. You can, at that point, save up for a much more expensive radio if you like the hobby. Consider this like the Battlefang of HF. We are in this rare opportunity where 10 meters is going to be really, really open for you, but it's going to shut down. And when it shuts down, that radio is like basically CB at the best. Like it's not going to be very good, right? It's a daytime band. 10 meters is very daytime, but when it's open, it's very open.
Yet the other thing I wonder about those is what the resale value is going to be on them, because I don't think they're going to hold their value, because unless the CB guys get interested in them, which might happen because
Right.
they do more than legal limit on CB channels. But other than that, I don't think they're going to hold the value.
Did he say a price, or did he just say 10 meter only?
He said 10 meter only.
Because at that point, it's really a debate about you might want to look at like a used newer HF rig. You know what I mean? Because you're going to upgrade to general eventually, most likely. If you're into HF, yeah, you're gonna want that extra, especially 3 years from now.
And for a technician, I would highly encourage you to try 6 meters.
Right, and if you get one of the HF rigs, you'll get the newer ones. You're going to get 6 meters along with, and then all the other bands you'll be able to operate on eventually. So
yeah, and I understand what Josh is saying. If all you can do is $200, which is going to be really tough because you still got to get an antenna or a piece of wire in the air. And those things don't have a built-in tuner, from what I understand.
A 10 meter dipole is so very easy to build. It's monoband, so that's not a problem. But power supplies, all that, yeah.
You got to tune it. And so does that even have an SWR display on it?
Good question. I don't remember. I think it does, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I got it somewhere over here, but I got to actually do a video on that.
Yeah. I like I said, I mean, when I was a technician and could do 10 meters, I was lucky enough because Radio Shack had a really good 10 meter radio.
Oh, the old HTX 100.
Yeah, exactly. I have it sitting right here.
God, I wish I saw a couple of them at the Knoxville Ham Fest a couple weeks ago, and I was so tempted, but I know how old that radio is, and I don't know the condition that it's been in.
Mine works. I couldn't believe it. I plugged it in the other day. It still works.
I don't even remember what happened to mine, but that was a great radio. I also saw a couple of the 70. I saw the 70 centimeter HT, which I was surprised.
So if we're still talking about Bryant here, he did put in the chat that it doesn't have to, or let's see, where was it? Okay, ADHD Life is the one who put this in here. He said it does not have to be 10 meter only, just not wanting to drop $1,000 right now. So on that, I would recommend the G90.
Yes. But
or
okay,
the 891.
There's a world of difference between $200 and $400 and $800 and $1,000.
But
right?
But he might be able to find something for $400 to $500 a used HF.
Okay, there's too much wiggle room in all this, right? That's the point of all of this. So yeah, all of those answers are correct. If you're willing to grow the money that you put out, then yeah, G90 is great. For $450, even $400 when it's on sale, as Don was mentioning, or sub $400, great radio. The 891, fantastic radio. And then anything at the $1,000 mark will be total money, right? But you got to set your budget and then just expect you're going to pay more than that radio cost. They're going to be more expensive.
Yeah, and but by the way, just to let everybody know, we're not arguing with each other.
Yeah. We're not.
The correct answer in every ham radio question is it depends, and we're
That's
always
true.
going to argue over the it depends part.
That's right. Absolutely. So I have a bit of a stop I got to do here. I'm not leaving, but I got to. So my dog got. We took her in to get fixed this week, and I realized that my wife has left. So I got to run her outside, and I have to like leash her and carry her and all that stuff to go to the restroom for a second. You guys keep talking. I will be back in a second. I apologize having to do this, but yeah, she's a hurt little doggy. It just happened yesterday, so I got to take care of her. I will be right back. I apologize, but
I'm so.
Go ahead, keep it going.
debated.
And if you answer other hams questions, that's appreciated. I would thank you. So I'll be right back.
I'm so debating about getting my Chihuahua fixed. When you said that,
Your what fixed?
My Chihuahua.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Both my cats are fixed, and oh man, it helps so much because cats are worse, I think, because. Well, anyway, let's not go into that. Let's see. Let's see if there's more questions.
I didn't know they were broken, but boom.
Yeah, no, they can be. if you value your curtains and everything else for not smelling, but again, let's not
or
go
your
there.
chairs, your couches, your
No, my
kitchen
cats,
floor.
Yeah, my cats don't do that.
I'm talking the dog.
Oh, the dog, yeah.
Oh, training him. Oh, he's a nightmare.
Yeah, that's the thing about cats. You just put a box there with some litter in it.
They kind of got a little more of that instinct thing going on.
Yeah.
Right?
And if they have a cat door, but I don't let my cats out because we have coyotes and bobcats around here.
Well, I was gonna say one thing I did point out, just like you did. I pointed it out in the chat before I jumped on Discord, but the first guy was make sure you also take into account you're going to need a power supply unless you're running it mobile. You're going to need something to power the radio, so make sure you take that into account.
A power supply and generally an antenna. Although Josh is correct, you can just put a wire out. But I mean, you do, even if you're doing it yourself, you're not going to cut it perfectly, and you're going to have some way. Maybe you can borrow something, but you're going to have some way to make sure that thing is tuned correctly and works.
Good reason to have either an Elmer, and if you don't have one,
a club.
Find one. Go to a club.
Yeah,
a lot of clubs have equipment.
Our club is really good about stuff like that.
And there's usually some way. Avoid the politics that happens in clubs, please.
Yeah, ours
it happens in all. Yeah, you're one of the lucky ones because.
Well, all of the clubs around me. I mean, we keep up with each other, and even the Dallas club, which is huge, they really don't have any of that infighting and that drama crap.
Yeah, I mean, Orlando Amateur Radio Club, I never really had. There was no drama in that one, really. Mm-hmm. But that's the one that puts on Hamcation, you know.
Yeah.
But all the little clubs, you get some people in there. I don't want to throw the sad hams word around because it's not really that. It's more like, I've been in this club for 42 years. And you've only been here for 5, you know.
I don't know if this is a new thing, but these guys keep adding me to these Discord, channels. And I mean, they're not like Discord channels. They're just a group of people that are friending each other. And then they bring you into this stuff. And these guys are driving me crazy.
You're very popular.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Basically, they're bringing you into a whole bunch of different group chats.
Right. It's a group chat, and they say, and they're definitely talking about weather, just basically weather. And I don't know how they got my name, but it's like you're
in one of the other Discords, and so they're like, "Oh, we got to add him too."
Yeah, and they're like, they keep everything is a mess or a ping. Sorry, that's not. Anyway, does anybody have a ham radio question?
Oh,
Or-
look at KI0 or KI50 Oscar Echo Bravo.
Yeah.
He said 30-year ham and he's president of the club.
Well, that can be a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, our guy, he took over for the other president. He was doing a good job. And I mean, the biggest thing in our club, I think, is like getting guests. But whoever's been doing it has just been killing it as far as guest goes.
Some clubs have weird rules, like you can only be in the same position for 2 years before you have to do something else, or some places only allow it for 1 year. So one of the clubs that I'm a member of had that problem where you can only be the same executive position, executive officer type position for 2 years in a row, and nobody wanted to run for president.
Yeah, and Tim
They
Harper.
literally.
Yeah, just a second. Tim Harper, I see your question. Can we give Josh a chance at that one, because he's actually used one? I have not, and I kind of have a prejudice against it because I use a DX Commander and I've had better luck with that. But Josh has used it, and let's give him a chance to answer that one. I'll remind him when he gets back.
The Crank IR one?
Yeah, the Crank IR one.
Yeah, I have. That's too rich for my blood, antenna-wise.
Yeah. Well, the big IR is like, whoa.
Oh yeah, the step. Is that the step IR? That's the one.
Yeah,
that basically it's got a bunch of little motors in it that it'll adjust each element and stuff.
Yeah, the Crank IR is the same thing. It's just manual. Josh, are you back?
I'm back. Sorry about that.
So, can you see that guy in W5TAH? He's asking about the Crank IR, whether it's a good antenna for 80 meters. I know you've used it. I've not had any
meters. No, I didn't think it went up to 80 meters. Or if it does, it's very high Q.
Does it do 40?
I think it does 40.
Yeah, and then he says, and the lower bands, and I assume that like 20.
40, I figured 40 might be the lowest that thing would get, because that's.
Let's look it up. Let's see. Oh, it says 80 and 2, so I guess they. Yeah. Now, is it good on 80 meters? I don't know. I don't know that I tested it on 80 meters. Gosh.
The big
that was a long time when I reviewed that antenna.
Well, at least you've had your hands on it. I've never. Yeah. And Ted, I think the big IR has an 80 meter coil. I don't know that the Crank IR does.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they do.
Yeah, how are they getting 80 on that?
What's the with an extension kit?
Oh, yeah, he's talking about an extension kit, which may be the truth. Yeah.
I will also mention this is more of a portable antenna than a permanent fixed antenna.
Yeah, if you're going fixed, I would definitely go with the DX Commander.
Something like that's going to be compromised, I think.
This would be compromised. The DX Commander is not really compromised on 80 because it's a full. You have to dog leg L off the wire on the DX Commander, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's like an inverted L on 80.
Right, but it is narrow Q, so you have to tune it where you want it.
Most things are starting to get narrow on 80 meters, to be honest. Like when
not a cage dipole.
God, how did he get that? How did he figure out a way to talk about a cage dipole?
I love my end fed half wave. I do great on 80 on that one. So.
Well,
cage end fed halfway.
And I never liked them, but I tried a 9-to-1 or what is it, random wire, and I can actually tune the damn thing on 80. So I'm pretty impressed. Well, I mean, but you can move like around on the band even into 75 meters, and it will still tune.
All right. I'm transmitting. We're transmitting.
I don't know. Like I said, my end fed. My DX10 will tune up all across the entire 80 meter band on that thing.
Then why were you talking about the 7300?
I was saying I was looking at the 7300,
Oh.
but then they announced the DX10, and I decided I was going to get the DX10 when it came to Huntsville, and that's what I did. Going on 2 years. It'll be 2 years ago now. This August, next month.
All right. So did we answer all the ham radio questions? Or are we all tuckered out? Oh. There was a question from JK Flip Flop. Question left over from the IC 905 show. Did you try it in the rain? No. We don't get rain out here. What's rain?
The radio heads are sealed though.
Yeah. They're all weather sealed. No, we did not.
Hey Don, somebody asked if you said flex yet.
I was avoiding that.
I just had to call you out on it.
No, I've been talking that all day. With Jim, just got his. He's had it exactly maybe 24 hours now.
Oh, big opening on 20. Like my first transmit was already hitting into the UK right now, so 20 seems to be a tad open.
13 colonies?
I was going to say, have you worked any 13 colonies? I was going to ask that, but I was waiting for the...
I haven't. This is the weekend for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've always had a tremendously...
This morning
I've always had a hard time on all the 13 colonies. Well, so I get a ton of 13 colonies, and I can make contacts with a lot of them, but I can seldom get a full sweep. It's not easy for me in California.
I have not had any luck in Texas either, and the ones that get me are Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. I'll get one of those, but I never get them all.
Well, this is the first year I've tried them. I've done Route 66. I like Route 66 too.
Mm-hmm. I never get
all the past years. They just work you, is what you're saying?
But I did get South Carolina already. I got that one. But man, I was trying for like a bunch of the other ones. And
it's those northern states.
Oh my God!
It's those Yankees that are the problem.
Well, so I wasn't sure. I figured I'd grab South Carolina while I heard it, because you never know, what I'm going to hear, whether I'm going to hear South or North Carolina. But the problem is on some of these other stations, they're coming in really loud, but there's 200 people coming back to them, and there's a lot of people that have been listening to that. Hey, if you wait a little bit and throw your call sign in last, well, some of these people are waiting like 15, 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's already trying to go back to somebody, and
Yeah, they step on them. And
right.
Yeah, that happened to me. I'm sitting there waiting for who he's going to talk to, and he goes, N5 SKT, are you still there? And it's like, yeah, I'm here, but the guy stepped all over him. So
right.
But you just have to have a loud station there, Jeff. A hex beam and 1500 watts.
You want to send me that amplifier of yours? Let me know. I'll figure out a way to wire it up.
At least get the hex, right?
So here's a good question. Here's a good question for everybody in the chat. Any recommendation for a budget battery to power the FT710 in the field? Oh, it's your time, everybody. What's your favorite batteries?
Budget-wise, that Miotti is not bad.
Miotti, yaddy. Yeah, that
one. Those are low-priced.
Are those LifePos? I think I saw those.
Yeah. But they're 12 volt as opposed to 13, although I don't think that makes a lot of difference. I've used them in the field for things, but mainly I use it for my KX3.
Why would they be 12 volt exactly?
No,
I've
got
12.8.
I've got their 20 amp hour one. It's not 12 volts.
Mine says 12.8 on it.
Well, I mean,
I've got the 8 amp.
That's the nominal voltage. That's not. That's just they're just labeling it as that. It's not the actual max voltage, because the cell voltage is you can't have 12 volts. It doesn't add up to that.
Okay.
But it's just like a 20 volt the 20 volt and the 18 20 volt like DeWalt pack and the 18 volt Ryobi pack, same pack voltage. They just rounded to a different number to call it whatever. It's kind of like calling a TV like a 40-inch. It's really not 40 inches like at the diagonal.
Calm down. My TV better be 40 inches.
You have to measure diagonally, not.
No, I said diagonal. It's not, but they're usually not 40 on the diagonal. Like if you go to Walmart and you see 40 class, saying class means that TV's not actually 40. It's they're rounding.
Yeah, that's why I don't go to Walmart.
39.7, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing. They're saying it's in the class of 40 inches.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's just batteries. But it's a mess. It's kind of like using amp hours instead of like watt hours and stuff. It's just.
But the Miatis are fairly inexpensive though, and they do work. They're definitely not bioennos, but I think every one of us has at least one of them.
I don't, but I did look at them.
Oh, I've been using that 20 amp hour one in a battery box for since before I got my ham license.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reality is that let's do it this way. This is maybe a better way to express this. If you go with a 12 amp hour battery for a 100 watt base station radio, you're not going to run it for very long on transmit. Like it's going to deplete that battery in a few hours. A 20 watt will double that, possibly give you a little bit more wiggle room on the top. And if you go to like a 100 amp hour battery, that's going to run you a good while. That's what we were running on San Clemente Island, was 100 amp hour batteries, among others of differing sizes. But the best thing you can do is go look up the battery calculator. Go to Google and type up the ham radio battery calculator and fill in the details there. That is going to be a better accurate representation of what you need in a battery than us saying like one battery is a little bit better than another battery, because if they're advertising the amp hour, it's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of that amp hour, if that makes sense.
It also depends on if you're going to be using like a panel with it. Because if you're using a solar panel with it and you're going to be somewhere like the beach, where you have usually pretty good sun, you can get away with a smaller battery. But if you're not going to be like carrying panels, you need a bigger battery.
Yeah, Josh, you pretty much asked or commented what I was going to ask. How many watts are you going to be running, and how long do you need it to run? The other thing is, there's a few things that have been coming up in the chat about using an AGM or a gel or even an old car battery. But there again, another question is, how far away from the vehicle are you going to be taking it? You don't want to lug a lead acid battery, halfway across the park. So how far away from it are you going to be? How many watts are you running, and how long do you need it to run?
I don't think anybody's arguing for sealed lead acid though right now. We're all talking LiPos, LifePos, that kind of thing. A LifePo battery, 100 amp hour LifePo battery, is incredibly light, like easy to carry. Like I could carry a Radio Go box and a LifePo battery in each hand, and just have no problem. No problem.
Right. The only reason I brought that up is because in the chat there were a couple of comments there, so I just wanted to touch on it.
Yeah, gosh, Kilo Foxtrot Josh, good name. It's really about how much money you want to spend on it, because you can go buy these batteries from Bioenno and some of the other major manufacturers of batteries for and when they say 12 volt, they're really talking like 13 volt standard, so like 13.8 on the high side, and then it degrades at that point further down. Yeah, it's going to really depend on your budget, because batteries get really expensive, like stupid expensive. So
even your car batteries these days are ridiculously twice the price they should be.
Even your car batteries. Yep. They're charging too much for them batteries.
Back when I was a boy.
Back in my day, I used to put distilled water in the cells, and we used it for 18 years. Dang nabbit. You know, that kind of thing? Yeah.
But they are cheaper than foldable solar panels.
Dude, solar panels are so expensive. They're so expensive. So expensive. Yeah. Good question, though. Good question. It's really going to be your... Oh, we got a VE station, so they're very good. We're getting into Canada.
Can we blame them for the haze?
Yeah. Another thing to remember too, like, just because it's a 100-watt radio doesn't mean, you know, it's consuming more power than 100 watts. That's just how much the transmit power is. So like at actual, like if it's putting out 100 watts, it's using more power to make 100 watts. So when you do a calculator, you got to make sure you're actually going for the maximum power consumption of the radio. Like if you're going to be running FT8 at 100 watts or something like that.
I feel like that's some kind of conservation of energy thing. I don't know.
Well, and also you got to take into account your mode, because if you're running just regular sideband, only your peaks are going to be 100 watts.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're running like FT8 or something, you're going to be in your duty cycle and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff to take into consideration. But I tell you what though, like I've got a 100-watt solar panel that may or may not put out 100 watts. I don't know. It's like a Foldy job. It's like a rock pals. I don't know. I got it because it has power poles on it. And but I have literally just like on the beach just operated with it, like
just raw dogged it right in the radio.
Well, no, I had a solar controller in my battery box, but I just mean but on sideband, like I never ran out of battery because it kept like in between talking, you know, and not using, like you said, not using 100% of the power. Like I never ran out of battery. It just kept, you know, I didn't go till the sun went down, but I never had an issue. But I was running a 20 amp hour battery, but I just ran, and then until I got tired of being on it. That was a good experience, though.
So Ferris dropped a 40 amp hour. Let's go take a look at this. Where is it? Let's pull this up here.
Yeah, somebody in
$80 for a 40 amp hour battery? That seems way too good to be true.
Somebody in
that's like a medical grade battery, though, isn't it?
Well, here's
I don't know what that means. I can shock a guy with defibrillators
equipment,
or what?
Somebody like a backup battery for like hospital equipment.
Somebody in this Discord was selling those because he had a bunch of surplus ones of that exact brand.
I think that's what that is. I think that's a medical device backup battery.
That's a killer. Yeah. That's a killer price for 40 amp hour.
I mean, it is used. Keep that in mind, but
it doesn't matter.
I see a purchase in Josh's future here.
Gosh. Darn it!
Well, the guy in Discord was selling them for less than this, and but anyway, he only had, I don't know how many he had, and if you go back in the swap channel, you probably see him. But yeah, he was selling them for a pretty good price too.
The reason I even mentioned the medical thing is because they replace batteries on a schedule. They don't do it based off of like how is the battery like bad. They replace it if it's good. They just do it on a schedule.
So it's like
even down to like double A's. You know, my cousin works at a hospital and she just brings home bags of double A's and gives them to my grandpa, and he never has to buy double A's ever because they'd have to change things out. Just
15 pounds. 15 pounds for a 40 amp hour is not bad. Like, that's not a bad price. That's not bad.
Random question: is someone in the Discord right now trying to work all the 13 colonies?
I think we are all trying, but we're all trying. We all would love to. Where are you going with this? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I just seen in one of the radio groups I'm in for Arkansas here that one of the guys has already worked all 13 within 13 hours.
Oh yeah, depending on where you're at in the country, yeah, not hard.
And how much power you're running and what antenna configuration you got. Yeah. If you can break over the pileups.
If you have a step IR at 80 feet, no problem.
I would love a step iron at 80 feet. Even in California, I can make work with that.
No clue what he's running, but I just know that he's already worked all 13 of them.
Oh, Ferris, stop it. Ferris is telling me it's less than $100 with shipping for a 40 amp hour, man. Oh, you stop it.
That's hard to beat.
It is. That's a pretty gosh darn good price there.
You can get one of those in that laptop and you'll be good.
Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, you were saying that you wouldn't lug something. I lugged a couple of 14 amp hour Power Sport AGM batteries up Gloss Mountain, which is not really a mountain, but let's say it's a 200 or 300 foot climb.
Sure.
Up the side of this plateau for a one-time good deal, because I ain't doing that again. But I mean, if you don't have the money to go out and spend, I put a comment in the chat that said, go buy yourself a new car battery and use the old one until it gives up the ghost, and that's usable.
No.
But it's heavy. But I've got a pickup truck. I don't care.
All right, so I do want to make a clarification on car batteries. Car batteries are designed for cranking power, right? Mm-hmm. They're designed to give power to your starter, to kick over those mechanical parts of your engine to start the combustion cycle. An AGM battery, if you want to go down the older school battery route, is going to be way better cost than a traditional car battery. Car batteries are not good for ham radio. We have too many much better options than that. You're better off with I don't know, half the amp hour rated ham radio type LiFePo battery than a car battery in almost every cases. They're going to last longer. I'm
not suggesting in going and buying a new car battery to use for ham radio. I'm suggesting go buy yourself, if your car battery is 2 to 3 years old, it's going to die soon. But you can get, for the $15 or $20 core charge, because that's what it's worth, you can get some usage out of it for parks on the air for probably a couple of years if you just put it on your little battery minder. And I'm in no way telling you to go spend $350 on an AGM battery. That's nuts.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Totally agree.
I mean, if you have like a little cart that you can put it on, I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's heavy. At that point, like one of those little beach carts, you can just throw it on one of those and roll it out to the park.
Yeah, they're probably fine for doing a couple of parks on the air activation and then trickle charging them back up. That's probably true. Yeah, that's probably fine. Yeah.
Do you have a boat? Use a deep cycle battery.
A deep cycle battery.
That's another.
Yep.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that's what's running our repeater site when the power goes out.
Then I've got a bunch of deep cycles myself. I've got like 7 or 8 boats.
Sounds like a party.
Well, let's do this.
I actually have a couple of deep cycle batteries that I use in my travels. I have a mobile station that I set up in my hotel room because I'm a traveling electrician, and so I have a 2 meter 70 centimeter mobile unit that I set up, and I run it off of deep cycle marine battery. And then in my work truck, I actually have 4 6-volt deep cycle batteries that I've got hooked up in series parallel on a shelf in the back of the truck. And I got those batteries completely for free. I looked into those. They came out of a scissor lift, and there was nothing wrong with them. And I asked the technician what he was going to do with them. He goes, "Oh, they'll ride around on my truck for a couple of weeks until I get the gumption to pull them out and put them on a pallet in the shop. They'll sit there for a couple more months until a truck comes to pick them up." He goes, "Why, you want them?" I said, "Yes."
Nice. Good score on that one. All right, let's take one more question, and I'm going to do an unboxing. We're going to do the live Oh! Live spicy freight unboxing here.
Somebody in the chat has a question, although I don't know anything about it.
What is it? What's the question?
Got a question on spotting for POTA on APRS. What is the address to? I used POTA and AppSpot, did not work. Got SOTA to work, and he said his name is Ruben KD6CWI.
Good question. So I think let's do. Well, no, the service could be taken down. So he said he did AP Spot, right? Oh,
yeah.
What happened there? What happened there, huh? Oh, guys. Oh, the website's down. Let's see. Oh my God. Is this actually explaining? That's SOTA. I understand SOTA. No, that's all SOTA. RBN is for Morse code. So yeah, you can RBN yourself. But you're asking about APRS.
We need Mike.
Oh, when the mic does. Yeah, that's what we need. So once upon a time, you could use text messaging, but SMS GTE is gone now for APRS. So I don't know what's going on. AP Spot is down. I'm literally clicking the link here. You're watching me, and it's gone. It's gone, guys. It's dead.
Is it POTA GW?
I don't know. Now my entire webs is all dead here. Here we go. POTA spot APR Slack to spot someone via APRS message. POTA GW in the format of activator park frequency mode comments. You could use SMS GTE. Evan's in there. All right, go look at this. Go look at this thing from KM4ACK. It sounds like you can do POTA APRS on POTA Slack. They were talking about that. You can spot someone via APRS. Send the message to POTA GW. POTA GW. So there you go. All right, let's break open the box here. Also, I have a video that I'm probably going to bust out tomorrow. This radio has gotten a bad rap on my YouTube friends. All my friends on YouTube. This is a good radio, not a bad radio, which I will talk about. Anyway, it's also clear, which for kids of the 90s, everybody who grew up in the 90s, who does not want a clear ham radio technology piece? That's insane. Come on. That'll go back here. You hang out, my friend. All right. So, Denko battery unboxing time. Here we go. Nice little packaging. Oh, I'm going to take this off the top.
I think I had a clear swatch back in the day.
Who didn't have something clear in the 90s? Oh, yeah, buddy. That's going on the refrigerator.
Stuff for prison.
I had a clear Nokia as well. Clear Nokia was where it's at. I will take his business card off because it's also got his secret. Oh. Here we go. That's it.
Hey, Josh, what was the secret phrase?
For the first episode, there it is. The first episode we did the secret phrase. It was natural. Yeah. Natural. Nature. It was natural. That's the right answer. There you go. Somebody listened to the podcast. Oh yeah, plug it in. There we go.
So, if you entered on the first podcast, do you need to do it again, or are you good?
I think you're good. I don't think you get like an extra entry from that.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just didn't know. Well, you said like the word for the first podcast, so I didn't know if it changed and you were supposed to do something else afterwards or what. But I got it.
You know, those are all questions for the
lithium battery
wifey.
without a balance lead.
What? What was that?
I said, is that a lithium battery without a balance lead?
Yeah, the BMS will balance it.
Yeah, if you're in the RC world, then you don't normally have BMSs, but in the ham radio world, we have BMSs in our batteries.
Yeah, it'll balance the Dencos balance themselves.
Plus, we use LiFePO 4, not just lithium.
LiPo.
I couldn't tell if it had a BMS in it or not because of the size of it.
Yeah, he puts one in.
It does. It does. Hold on. Let me show you if I can show that on the camera here. So the pack, the side that has the 3 cells, you see the ridges that you can see like 4 prominent ridges, but then when you flip it over, there's a bulge right here, and it happens to correspond where the wires are going. It's right here. There's a bit of a bulge. Look at that though, Dennis and these stickers. Where are you at, Dennis? Are you watching this right now? Look at this, man. I love it, dude. Look at this. Look at this sticker. This is like perfect sticker, dude. Love it. I love it.
Okay, well, I just thought I'd make sure I wasn't seeing things and making sure that it did have a BMS. Like I figured it probably did, but wasn't sure.
Ooh, buddy, Dennis. Good stuff, man. I just want to say, shout out to my friend Dennis for actually making some stuff and selling it. I love that. I think it's awesome. And I'll pull up the website again so we can take a look at it, because I think he's got a. Well, I don't know. Maybe we sold a decent chunk. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go check it out. So, $80, $75. Those are all within the range of your bio-NOs. He's got one for $65 over here. 5 amp hour jobber. I went with the $75 one. So there you go.
And Josh is being kind of humble here, but
I'm being humble?
You and Dennis did a build video where you actually built a battery, and if you watch that video, you can see the BMC.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't think I'm being humble. I'm just
kidding.
I mean, that was all stuff that I learned from Dennis when he was on the show, right? Like he sent me a lot of that, like those nickel strips and the cells. Dennis packaged that all up and sent it out to me. He's like, "You're gonna solder this?" And I went, "Yeah, I got no problem soldering anything." Now I used a car battery to solder it, and why, boys and girls, did he use a car battery? The high amperage and cranking hour. That's what you want. That cranking power. Yeah, that's what you want for a welder, but for a ham radio, you need like slow, like nice and easy.
I was just pitching, getting your watch hours up.
I appreciate that. Don. Oh, I am apparently asleep at the wheel here doing FT8. Oh, that price is cheaper if you buy 2? Nice.
Save on shipping.
There you go. It's a secret. What's that meme joke? This is a secret something we'll use later. That's anyway.
Yeah, I got kind of mad at Gigaparts because I bought a number of things, and then there was a discount code for it, and then I bought something else that had another discount code, but they won't let you buy them in one shot, so you have to buy them in 2 separate shots to use 2 different discount codes, which means you have to pay twice for the shipping.
Oh. Oh, there's literally only one left. Ferris is telling us. Ferris is saying there's literally only one left. There's literally only one left. I'll drop the link, and then we can just close them out for everybody who wants a fantastic battery. It is the battery that I use most often, particularly for QRP. You can run. I've run a 100-watt radio off of it, not for long, right? Because this is more for like your 705. So your 705 enthusiasts, this is like the mother of batteries. This is what you want. And pretty much any one of those will pretty much kick butt. So yeah, take them out. Take them out. Clear them out. Shut it down. Shut them down. Shut them down, guys. Shut them down, boys.
Wonder why he's selling that buck converter. Is that one that he finds particularly good, I guess?
Good question. Let's take a look. Maybe he's got more. Can I? Oh, I can't. I can just add it to cart. There's no description. You just buy it and you like it. That's what you do, John. You buy it and you like it. Oh, there it is. I will say this website's a little slow, Dennis, or your site's a little slow. Maybe it's getting hit. I don't know. But from the moment he introduced us on Twitter, it's been slammed.
It's all the traffic he's getting. Ain't got enough bandwidth.
It's a USB down converter. So it's for going to from 12 to 5.
Right. But I assume there's lots of those on Amazon. I assume that he finds this one particularly good. Because like when I put my battery boxes together, I have, they sell those little things that go into the side of the battery box that basically do the same thing, right?
Right.
Hey, Hosh, I'm just talking about the 40 amp one. Sorry to confuse you.
Regarding what?
Only one left.
Of the what?
Batteries.
The big green 40 amp batteries.
He's out of those. Where are you seeing that?
No, I mean the ones I linked earlier.
Okay. That's
Sorry.
fine. That's fine.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, buy all the Denkos though. These are great stuff.
And if you really like that sticker, you can buy the shirt, Josh.
It's too much. It's too much the Flash logo for me to wear that. Like I like the Flash. He's one of my favorite DC comic book characters after Batman, but I'm unwilling to wear a logo like that. Well, no, because it literally says DC and then has a lightning bolt. That screams comic book, right?
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the shoes.
Remember those shoes? There were big pillows that you'd wear on your feet. Remember those? I love those shoes. I grew up wearing DCs. DCs were like my go-to shoe.
What was Rob Deerdeck and what's his name, right? From
Oh, I don't know.
What was the dude? The one that died on a snowmobile.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know.
Ken Block.
Ken Block, yeah. That's Ken Block. That was Ken Block's company, wasn't it?
What? The shoe company?
DC, yeah. I think that was Ken Block's company.
Really? Oh, yeah. Everybody's screaming Ken Block. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Isn't that crazy that Ken Block died? That's insane.
Oh, yeah. Like all the things he's done in motor vehicles, and a snowmobile got him. It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's like Jeremy Renner going to it's like when Jeremy Renner tried to pull somebody out with his snowcat and almost died.
Well, he lived.
It's like, well, I know, but I said almost. But he almost didn't.
Could you imagine then what happened is he was probably trying to get out of it when it was still moving and it sucked him under the tread or something? Oh.
Man, that's like a track vehicle operator's worst nightmare, being run over.
He broke 40 bunks.
Oh God.
40.
That's insane.
No good deed goes unpunished.
I think it's crazy that he lived is what I think is crazy.
He's lucky he lived.
Yeah.
He crushed his lung.
Dude's a fighter. Yeah, Ken Block was awesome.
He's very tough.
Ken Block, didn't he run a car through a loop too? Like he's done all kinds of stuff.
Oh, he's done all kinds of stuff.
He had that Focus, and then he had the Gymkhana Mustang. Really oh my God. Like he's had so many cool videos and stuff that I've watched over the years. Oh,
like drifting Pikes Peak.
Oh yeah,
that was crazy.
His Pikes Peak video is cool. His Mustang is he had the coolest Mustang. Everybody wants that Mustang. Yeah,
man, that is so it's what's his name? The guy with the rotaries on. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a rotary. Crap.
Now we're talking about cars. Yeah,
there's a Rob Dom. He's got the people that built the front end, so the front like basically chassis for the Unicorn, built the front
Unicorn,
chassis
that's right. That's
for for Rob Dom's like the whole chassis area. Like it's got the same basically like running gear is like the Unicorn on his 4-rotor RX-7. That's not really RX-7 anymore because it's mostly like custom everything, but like it's pretty wicked.
I love it.
Oh man, nothing like a rotary.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's lots of things like a rotary, but I respect it.
I mean, like there's nothing like the experience that a rotary gives you. It's a different thing than just like a reciprocating engine. It's a different feel, a different sound. The whole RPM thing's being a little higher, and the noises and the using oil and the blowing flames out of the exhaust.
I love that you just said using oil. You are a Mazda fanboy. We got a Mazda fanboy in the chat right now.
Well,
That's
just a little bit.
Just a little using oil, using it, not consuming it or burning it through the combustion cycle. I love it. 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 Yeah, those things are smokers. They run through oil. That is true.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. My friend's dad bought one, and I was like, "Hey, man, make sure you keep an eye on the oil levels."
You gotta go. You gotta get a couple pints in the trunk there, bud.
That's like, he's like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, they burn oil." And he's like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, that's how they're designed. God. It's just like they're literally just." Yeah, you're gonna just want to keep an eye on it.
Yes,
I didn't know that's the right thing.
No, you want to keep a couple of quarts in your trunk, like for that engine. You need to keep it topped on oil. If there's one thing it can't do is be oil starved. You cannot starve that thing on oil. You cannot. It's not allowed. That's not even a joke.
Engine.
Yeah, if you want those big fireballs, that's the rotaries are the ones that'll do it for you.
Yeah,
that's right. I got behind one day. I was on like a sport bike, and I was like kind of just real close to him, and he was kind of wanting to mess with me, and I didn't end up racing the guy because I don't know, he probably would have beat me. I didn't, but he like like you could just see like a blue flame just shooting out. I guess this is the oil burning.
Yeah, it's the oil burn. It's the oil burn.
It probably was more fuel, but he had a tune. He had a bunch of stuff done to it.
He had a laptop in the passenger seat, is what you're saying?
It was it had like graphs that were like rapidly changing.
I'll race him
on his intake manifold.
I'll race him in my truck.
I had a Chevy Vega back in the 70s.
Oh, Chevy Vegas are legit. What did you have in it?
Well, no, I had the stock engine, and you remember the stock engine, right? It was an aluminum block.
Yeah, it was a piece of crap. That's why everybody put like small block Chevys and big blocks in them because they could take a big block. The Vegas were the drag queen. Yeah, they were great.
Well, I had the station wagon, and that
even better. Smoke some doors with the station wagon.
But yeah, when we got it, it was fine, and then I lost a radiator hose. And it warped the block. So
the aluminum, yes. Yeah, God. Okay, it all comes from
So then I went and I had it turned and knew everything.
Bored out.
Cost a lot. And then I was driving to school probably a year later, and all of a sudden water just came flying up over my hood and everything.
You chopped
and I turned it immediately off.
Yeah.
Nope. Warped the block.
Oh my God. So you chopped the upper radiator hose with the fan? Is that what you did?
No. It just literally got a hole in it. I have no idea how to.
It was probably the fan. The fans are the things that do that on the upper tube. It was.
Yeah,
How were your motor
I don't
mounts? You probably blew through a motor mount or multiples.
I never had trouble with motor mounts. My brother did. Now he had a Pinto, and we know the Pinto, right?
I am aware of the Pinto. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom had a Pinto.
The rolling bomb.
Yeah, the dude who did the reverse flame paint on the Pinto, where the fire starts from the back and goes out, like that, perfect paint job.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen the backward flame Pinto? Are you kidding?
No, but it makes so much sense. It sounds so amazing.
Are you kidding?
I'm gonna find it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna
You
look
must
this up.
be living under a rock then.
Well, I'm living in Kentucky. Does that count?
Dude, look at this. Look at this. If you're watching me on YouTube, look. It's a Pinto. That's the whole thing right there. That's it. That's it.
Oh, there it is. There's a lag on YouTube.
Yeah.
The phone is faster. So, that is amazing.
Is that a Pinto?
That's amazing.
Is that a Ford Pinto?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had one of those. That was the first car I ever owned.
You have
Yeah,
flames on it.
Ford Pinto.
My brother again. Both of us ended up with
That is
station
amazing.
wagons.
I love it.
All right, so here's my question for the chat. This is the wheels are fully off now. I don't know if anybody caught that, but if you didn't know that, the wheels are fully off.
Mhm.
We'll come back to ham radio, I promise. But this is probably going to be a spirited discussion. So my 6-year-old came to me last night. Last night, my son came to me and said, "Dad, I want to watch a scary movie." I said, "Son, I can put you on a scary movie. I can put you on a scary movie that'll scare the crap out of you." Because I love scary movies. They're my favorite genre. Being scared is not something I've felt in a movie for decades, but I love them. I watch just about everything. And so I was like, "Son, this is a..." Thank you for asking me this question, first of all. But what kind of scary movie? And he's like a monster that chases you, that chases the people in the movie. And I was like, "Okay, where's this coming from?" He's like, "Well, we watched Maze Runner. So if you haven't seen Maze Runner, it's a teeny bopper flick that came out in the 2000s, early 2000s. But there's I did too. I thought that the first one's really good. But in the first one, there's like a mechanical robot thing that chases the people that enter the maze, and it scared him. Like he was legitimately scared. And he's like, "I want something like that." Like that's a 6-year-old asking you for that. I'm like, "Oh, this is a little weird for me, but okay, I'm down." So I was like, I tried. So he's watched Alien, which he's probably too young to watch Alien, but he watched Alien. He watched Aliens, which is arguably a less scary movie, I feel. Aliens is less scary than Alien from my point of view because it's more suspense. So Maze Runner. I see what you did there, Austin. And so I was kind of like racking my brain to figure out the best, like that type of monster movie. So the one that jumped in my head was Pitch Black, but Pitch Black has a lot of buildup. It's mostly like Riddick is a bad guy through the first half of it, and then the actual monsters come out.
That's such a good movie.
Might be a problem with his attention, keeping his attention.
But so after we went through all this, we went through so many different videos to try and like pick a monster movie that he would like that was like that scene or multiple scenes in Maze Runner. And Godzilla doesn't work. So one of the ones that came up was Cloverfield. Like I put Cloverfield on, but again, Cloverfield's also a bit too old for him. Because also Cloverfield has some buildup before the monster actually starts trying to kill everybody. But that's too big. He wants like a shrunk down monster. Again, he's 6. He wants like
Chucky,
the immediate intensity. So I was like, okay, so Cabin in the Woods also came up in my head, but that's also way too old for him, right? You're talking a 6-year-old. So you want a really good monster movie that's like a monster chasing the people, but for someone that's 6. And I was like, dang, this is actually really hard. This is a really hard.
So Play Misty for me did not come up.
No, it did not. Cloverfield is great. Cloverfield is great, but not for a
stuff in
6-year-old.
my mind.
There's too much stuff for a 6-year-old that they can't wrap their head around, like the party in the beginning. So we watched the preview for Cloverfield, like they have a trailer, and he's like, "Dad, why does it look so real?" And I realized like he's watching it, and we all acknowledge that as like shaky cam, like handheld shaky cam, but to him that's like real, right? It's actually worse video quality. But it's real because for some reason I don't fully understand. But he was like, no, why does it look too real? And I was like, wow, that's wild. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Fallen is probably not the movie for a 6-year-old.
Rubber.
I was so he didn't want a zombie movie because if that was the case, I would have put Slither on. Slither's actually the Blob. You know what? I think you're right. The remake of the Blob is really, really good. Really good. The original Blob is good with Steve McQueen, but the remake is fantastic. Fantastic. That might be the one. You might have got it. It's not a traditional monster, but that might be the one. My older one would like that for sure. Ben would love that movie.
I think I watched Halloween at 6. That's a little scary though.
So the thing is my go-to, one of my favorite horror movies. I love The Thing. I love The Thing. For a 6-year-old, it's not going to hold him. The Blob might hold him though.
The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, wait a minute. That's too old.
Brad Hook. So, Brad Hook, you nailed the one that I thought was going to be the jam. I thought Tremors would do it, and he said that's too funny. He wants it more serious than that. Like, it's very serious. And I went, dude, Tremors scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I literally walked around the house, like, worrying that a big worm was going to, like, jump out and eat me.
I loved Tremors. That was awesome.
Great. Yeah. Tremors is great. Tremors is like a very, very well-made video movie that does not get the respect it deserves, I think.
What was the one that had all the cars that there was some kind of like
Maximum Overdrive. Maximum
Yes.
Overdrive. No, he wants a monster movie. Well, that's maybe because the Goblin. Okay.
Yeah, the big Goblin truck was what I was thinking of, but I guess that's kind of like, I don't know, buried in there.
I think the movie. So Signs is a very good movie, but it's very high suspense and very little payoff. So he's a 6-year-old. High suspense does not work. Predator's probably too old for him, but at the same time, we're talking about watching Terminator 2. He watched Terminator 1. He fell asleep through most of it, but. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say he watched Terminator 1. That's probably a little intense for a 6-year-old. He's a different kind of kid. Let me tell you, he's a different kind of kid.
I mean, what about
Nightmare on Elm Street? That's
that's what I was thinking.
That's too
Nightmare or
multi-layered,
Friday
I
the
think.
13th.
That might be too multi-layered for him.
He said he doesn't want silly, so I assume Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is out.
No, yeah, for him, no. That won't play.
What was the one with the giant bug thing?
Christine's not going to.
Arachnophobia.
If they're small monsters. Well, then you're back in then you're back in Slither territory. Slither, I think, is a better movie than Arachnophobia.
But again, that was really old.
Wasn't Arachnophobia with John Candy?
Yes.
The thing in Tremors is pretty old too.
Wait, you know what? So the other thing he doesn't like, Ben likes it when it's a future movie. So Starship Troopers is a
That would be funny.
fantastic
though.
movie, but it's got too many adult things going on. There's way too many adult things. My
What
older
about
one
like
might be able to
It
get by
or something like that?
So we did discuss It. That was a point that we talked about. He was not so I put the trailer on for It, the remake. And there's a part where like It goes from being like the brother to like being It, and then he like runs at the kid. And he's like laughing when he does that. That's not scary. It's like the most suspenseful part of the trailer, like the scariest part. He's like, that's not even funny. Like, that's not even good. And I was like, okay. Like, this is a different kid.
What about Jeepers Creepers?
I was thinking Jeepers Creepers. That also came onto the list in my head. By the way, this is still one of my favorite movies is Edge of Tomorrow. It is so good. I watched it with Ben.
Oh, yeah.
He loved it. Oh, was that a snort because it was not? You did not
talking
like
about the Emily Blunt movie?
Yeah, you didn't like that?
Oh,
that
no,
was
I
a
love
snort because Don's talking.
Oh.
That was somebody else that did that. I love that.
That was a
That's my
great
jam.
movie. Edge of Tomorrow is a fantastic movie.
Anything that has
Yeah.
giant robots or exoskeletons or any type of thing with Emily Blunt in it.
So that was my other thing is I wanted to put on Pacific
Hey, you
Rim,
go. That's Tom
but
Cruise.
he was like, I don't want a big monster. I want a smaller monster. And I was like,
I
Pacific
literally-
Rim is so good. It's so
I
good.
literally just like last night while I was working on some stuff, or the night before last, I was watching Pacific Rim too.
Then we can have that fun moment where like Leia's like working on her laptop in the background and the Chinese robot with a third arm like takes itself out and be like, ha ha, Chinese robot, ha ha, Chinese robot killed itself. You know, that whole thing. Because the Chinese
my
robot
favorite.
gets screwed up in that pretty bad.
I bought a DVD that like box set that had both of them just so I could rip it and put it on Plex so I could watch it whenever I want.
We've seen Spaceballs. But there's no monsters in Spaceballs. Somebody else said something that was really good. We've seen Goonies. We've watched Goonies. He didn't like Goonies. So Goonies is like the video for like my older son who's like 10 going on, 16, that kind of thing. For Edison, he's about the immediacy. Like he wants the clear and present danger.
What about War of the Worlds?
No, it's too heady. The second one, I never watched Eight-Legged Freaks. Is Eight-Legged Freaks any good?
I thought that was a band.
Oh man. So most of these videos I contemplated and I tried to show them the trailer, but the problem is sometimes the trailer. Oh, you know what? So this was the one that I was almost going as Quiet Place. We almost went full Quiet Place, but that is pretty intense. Like that is a pretty intense movie.
Yeah,
Quiet
that's a lot
Place
of
2 is
emotion
not
for a little
nearly as good as the first one, but Quiet Place was on the list.
It's funny because like after watching that movie, every time I walk down the stairs to the basement,
You look
I
for
try
nails?
To be quieter.
Or you look for nails?
I just try to walk without making it creak.
Mm. Oh, that's a good movie. I really like the world of A Quiet Place and also Bird Box, but I don't think Bird Box would work with him. Screamers! Screamers might be a really good one.
I think you should ask ChatGPT.
Oh, wait, I think I got it. I think I know what it is. I think it's Leviathan. Wait, is it Leviathan? The one with the ball?
No, that's Event Horizon, isn't it?
No. The silver ball that like cracks
Yeah.
people in the head and then bores the blood out of them. No,
yeah,
not
no.
Sphere. Not the Michael
that's
Crichton.
That's not Leviathan, is it? Because
No,
Leviathan is a big, like whale type thing, right?
No, Phantasm. Thank you. It's Phantasm.
That's it.
Yeah, Leviathan. Something else.
It's from the Bible.
Phantasm might work. It might be like gory enough to the point that it's comedic. And you got the tall man. Tall man's kind of a scary guy. It's also subtly comedic, particularly in the second one. Oh, and his line is "boy." That's right. Yeah. Oh, okay. We might have to do Phantasm, which would be hilarious because that's like a schlocky horror movie. Phantasm? He's got a ball. He's got actually multiple, but basically it's a ball that has like two spikes and like a screw, and it just runs people into the face, like directly in the face, and then the screw bores into their head, and then just blood shoots out of the back of the ball for no reason. It is hilarious. It is so stupid, but it's pretty good. No, Saw's too much. I think Saw's too much for him. I think that's actually the borderline. Like, I don't want to dip into like gore porn. I want it to be just like a whatever. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. What's that?
What's your take on The Fifth Element?
Not a horror movie, but a fantastic movie. I love The Fifth Element. Oh,
I've been going back and forth with the wife on for our 7-year-old.
So if your 7-year-old is like my older son Ben, then he'll love it. My 10-year-old Ben loves sci-fi, loves anything sci-fi. Edison, though, he has no interest in sci-fi.
So what makes the guy hit people in the face with his ball?
What? About the ball? What?
No, on Phantasm. Like, what makes him hit people in the face with his ball?
He's evil. There you go.
Like, but like he just random people?
Yeah, just like
kinda.
Jason or
I'm just gonna have to
Jason
watch
or Michael in the in those kinds of movies. It's just like that.
Yeah.
Or Freddy Krueger.
Of course, he already said Nightmare on Elm Street.
If you really want to scare him,
No, I'm just saying
that's you.
That's what that guy's like. Is what I was trying.
So we watched Big Trouble. Big Trouble was like, so anything Carpenter is like. Actually, I think that John Carpenter's movies, a lot of them are totally fine for kids. Big Trouble in Little China is a fantastic movie for kids. I don't care who. I know what I'm saying. Like, it's a bit intense for me to make that like hill to die on, but I think it's actually totally fine for kids. I don't know. We watched Big Trouble in Little China. The Mist was, I was borderline on Mist because of the ending, but also at the same time he's 6, so like I don't know that he's gonna get it. But The Mist is, okay, so there was a time where there was all these Facebook Lives where you could hop onto a Facebook Live and people were watching movies. And I hopped on a Facebook Live and there was like 20 people watching. And the movie ended. And I was like, oh, let's watch The Mist. It's a really good horror movie. It was like Halloween time. And I got all of them just hooked on The Mist. The Mist has such good characters, such a good like world building, like everything's super interesting. And then the ending, they were like, you son of a bitch. Like, the ending just wrecks you. The ending is the worst. Like, it's so bad. And if you pay attention, a lot of the people that are in The Mist ended up being on The Walking Dead. Oh, God. Yeah, Monsters, Inc. Yeah, I'll totally play that for him. Obviously, you heard what he watches. Monsters, Inc. isn't going to do anything to him.
What was that?
Did anybody see that Winnie the Pooh movie, Blood and Honey?
Yeah, it's horrible. So many people.
Oh yeah.
I never even watched it. I wasn't even gonna.
So I will say, as much as I like the old school monster movies, they do not hold up. Like they do not hold up to today's like young generation. I love the original King Kong. I think that it is better than all the old school monster movies, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, all that stuff. The original King Kong is fantastic from a movie making standpoint, and the technology that they had to figure out to do a lot of those shots is just amazing. But you can really only appreciate it when you get older, I think.
What about Evil Dead?
So we watched Army of Darkness. Okay. I was not willing to go full Evil Dead on them yet.
What about
that's
Dale,
a bit?
What
Dale
about
and Tucker
Dawn of the
versus-
Dead?
So Hellraiser's out of the question?
Wait, hold on. Yeah, Hellraiser's out of the question. Don, say that again. What was the option?
Dale and Tucker versus Evil.
That might work. Dale and Tuckle. Yeah, Dale and Tuckle. Yeah, that might be okay. I might have to think about it. Godzilla
really
doesn't
like
work. Too big. The monster's too big for Edison. It's too big. It's too surreal for him. It's not. He said that's not real. There can't be a monster that big. And I went, okay. I'm not gonna.
What about anime? I assume he has no interest in anime.
I mean, no, they watch a considerable amount of anime actually, like Demon Hunter or sorry, Demon Slayer. Not okay. I'm getting all my animes mixed up. Demon Hunter. They love Demon Hunter. They watch the whole thing. What's a good... Oh! The Dun Peel Hunter, Vampire Hunter D. They might be able to get away with that.
Exactly.
That one's really good. That,
yes.
As far as anime goes, yes. Vampire Hunter D. Yeah, Job's with me. Oh, so good.
What
good.
About Dawn of the Dead?
It's too funny. He doesn't want funny. He wants to actually be like, this is a kid who's like, I want to be scared. Okay, so Rockstar, I tried to go supernatural, and I said, okay, what about Poltergeist? And he's like, what's a poltergeist?
No.
And we played the trailer. I even played the trailer for the remake. He was, no, not. Like, I was going to do Paranormal Activity. Like, if you go down that rabbit hole, I can load him up. But he was like, no, not scary to me. That's not real. That's all fake. And I was like, okay.
And what about the show Supernatural?
All right, son, sit down. We're going to be here for 3 years.
Hey, I liked it. I don't care.
When the dad was out of the picture, I was done. That is I love that actor who is the same actor that plays Negan. I love that guy so much. The steez that he puts out there, the quote unquote Riz, as the kids are saying. Dude, that guy is the what's his name? Oh God, somebody.
I don't know, but he's a great character actor.
He's such a good character actor. The guy who plays Negan, oh God, so good. And in Supernatural, he drives this old Chevy truck, and he's got the covering on it that has the wardings on it and all that. Oh, it's so good, so good. Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think is it Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Dean Morgan. Okay, many people. Cheers to you, bud. I love everything you do. Everything. I follow you on Instagram. I love it.
I thought Bobby was the one who drove the truck.
No, the black truck was the dad's.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch
the
first.
Yeah, I liked
seasons,
Bobby.
I guess.
I liked it when they brought the mother in. And by the way, they bring the dad back several times.
Well, any one of those are like the highlight reels. I got to go back and watch those.
Well,
that's a great series.
The ones that always got me was when they were making fun of the show in the show.
Yeah.
The musical was hilarious.
I've not.
Does he
seen
like
that.
Jurassic Park movies?
Yes, but I don't think they're scary enough. So Final Destination, that was on my list, but it's not immediate and present enough. It needs to be. So he's 6, so like his brain's not fully developed, right? And that's why we're showing him these horrific horror movies, right? His brain's not fully developed, so I don't think he can conceptualize the concept of like the Grim Reaper and death, right? It can't be a transparent thing. It has to be a clear and present danger thing, like a monster, right? That he can understand.
Did we talk about Gremlins, or is that too funny?
We've watched Gremlins. We've watched both of them. They loved it.
Oh, okay.
They loved Gremlins, particularly the second one. The second one's the better one for kids.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. We watched Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 1 is too old for kids, and it's not because it's too scary. It's because it's like the banter between the characters is like, come on, Bill Murray is just he's an adult. He's for adults. Kids don't really get that. The nuance there in play is just not available.
The second one, I did not like it.
No, the second Ghostbusters, no. Yeah, no. It's not good.
Yeah.
But oddly enough, kids like the second one more than the first one.
Yeah, my wife did, and I never got it. But
so the other way I thought about going was we watched Indiana Jones and the first one. We haven't watched any more than that. My oldest liked Indiana Jones. The younger one, not really a big fan. But Temple of Doom is much darker than the first Indiana Jones. And I was like, hey, that might work, but it's not a monster. It's just like a
Kalima.
Kalima Shaktate. Kalima Shaktate. Yeah. Like, I was like, this whole discussion that happened with the 6-year-old was like, this is amazing. He's like, no, I don't want it to be too big. But I want it to be like... I wanted to be really mean and like chasing all the people. And I was like,
he's going to be the kid in middle school that
what about Jaws
stuff.
This kid is like Edison is not any like if you took my wife and I and you condense down the intensities that we have, like the intensities, like the things that we get like just erroneously upset about and then condense them into one being, that is Edison. Edison is like, he's just so like driven, and I will just do it and get out of my way. If you can't help me, you're dead to me. And just he is a 6-year-old. It's like, holy God, it's crazy. I'm trying to be a father to this kid. Terminator 2 is so honestly, he's that might work. I think there's an angle here because we watched Terminator 1 and he wasn't super enthused about it because I think he didn't understand the robot component enough in Terminator 1 and the switching between like future and past. But I think they do a better job in Terminator 2. That might work. The other one that no one has mentioned, which is still one of my favorite horror movies of all time, is The Descent and The Descent 2. So good. If you have not seen these movies, go watch The Descent. Oh,
what about
so
Jaws?
good. What about Jaws?
Jaws. Or Meg.
Jaws might work. I should try Jaws. By the way, if you want to watch a movie that your significant other that might be female that worries about the Bechdel test, The Descent passes the Bechdel test. No comments on The Descent? Oh my God, it's so good. Has everybody seen The Descent? Wait, has everybody seen The Descent? This might be homework.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Negative Ghost Rider.
You haven't seen The Descent? You all need to go watch The Descent.
What's it about?
It's about spelunkers that are all women. And they get messed up.
Okay, I have not seen that one.
Go.
I like cave movies.
Yeah, dude. Dawn, go watch The Descent. Go watch it. Go watch it.
And
It's
what about?
good.
Have you tried Little Shop of Horrors?
Not with him. He's not going to like that.
Oh, okay. And Basket Case, I guess you haven't tried that one.
No, I haven't tried Basket Case. I don't think I've seen that. That is a movie I haven't seen. You got me on that one. So far, I've seen everything that we've talked about, but
I think the problem is there's just not enough horror movies targeting 6-year-olds.
You know, I think you're right. I think you're right.
And for good reason, maybe.
I think this is a really good opportunity for a production company to really just break this genre wide open.
I think you're totally right. Yeah. So we did
I
what
think it really might be a really good opportunity to reevaluate whether a 6-year-old should see those movies.
You know,
so
I
that
thought
you
about that
save
myself.
them.
I thought about that
Save
myself.
them from a lifetime of mental health care when they're like 27 or 28 and they go, why am I so messed up? And it's because my dad took me and made me watch these horror movies, and then you become the bad guy. But I'm just throwing it out there.
So
or
Paul,
he's going to become a
six
on
is
the
not
other hand,
bad.
when everything hits the fan, he'll be able to make the hard choices.
So
Yeah,
Paul,
he'll be able to kill people at the age of 9 instead of 12.
Paul, I might understand where you're coming from, except I was in his shoes at 6 years old. So I've watched the craziest movies at 6 years old. Not necessarily from my parents. And look how I turned out, Paul. I'm totally balanced.
Well,
Everything's fine. Everything's good.
I'm measuring my words carefully here, but what I would say is that some underlying issues may come from that. You know, childhood trauma, and this is on the serious side. Childhood trauma actually lasts a lifetime.
I don't think. I mean,
trauma like that comes from real events, not from fake ones.
Yeah, I think he has a. So, by the way, like Paul, by the way, thank you for expressing
Just
a concern.
throwing it out.
Yeah. But
I'm not a horror movie person. I can't watch them because it stays with me too much.
So Edison has told me, he's like, he looks at me and goes, this is all not real. Like to have a 6-year-old just tell you that is also kind of a little bit surreal, that he's like, I'm watching something on a so consider how we grew up, right? Like for us, having a movie was a treat. It was kind of a rare activity. And even on our tiny little screens that we watched it on, a lot of us walked away from that going like, is that real? Did that really happen? Particularly at that age. But a lot of these kids are like fully compartmentalized, that they're like, no, that's not real. Like, this is just a thing. We're watching a thing.
And that leads to cognitive dissonance. But that's a whole different.
I mean, I guess. I don't know that that's proven, but we can definitely say that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, the
I think it depends on the person. Like you just gotta like, people are so variable, and I don't know.
They are, but the biology is the same, pretty much the same from the age of the most formative year, and this is just hypothetically, most formative years are from age 4 to age 8. Those 4 years are the most critical in every kid's childhood. I mean, that's where they, their value system is formed, where their sense of right and wrong is formed, their moral compass is guided. I mean, that's fact. That is science. That is biology. Now, whether you introduce horror movies to kids at 6 or 16, 16-year-olds probably can handle it pretty well. 6-year-olds don't know what they don't know. They don't know what's going to terrify them. They think they know, but when they truly get terrorized, that terror gets like imprinted in their circuitry in their head, and it stays with them. I mean, it's just that's just the way the brain works.
I don't know. When I was
But I
16, I
could
considered
be
myself
wrong.
to be an adult, so I was already
I'm
plotting
gonna
my way
say,
out of
right,
high
you
school and
probably
into
had the
college.
razors, right? I mean, when it's like when my wife was 6 years old, she had to raise herself because both parents had to work. So she was originally one of those latchkey kids that had to literally learn how to take care of themselves at 6.
Yeah.
And those things, they stay with you.
Sure.
Right. And again, that's a real thing. The lack of mom and dad in the household is one of the most traumatic things out there. A fake thing on a screen, I don't believe. What does bother me is the easy access to watching real things, like videos from the cartels and the some of the war stuff that. And I mean, when I was
Chopping
growing
people's
up,
heads off
it
is
was
not
the
good.
Vietnam War stuff that was on television all the frickin' time. And so when I was watching a horror movie, that was funny. It wasn't real. What was real was watching those poor guys get shot in Vietnam.
Sure.
And they would throw it on the 6 o'clock news right after the cartoons. So yeah, to me, it's the real stuff. It's not the fake stuff.
Now there was a comment.
Kids up.
There was a comment that said, I'd say there's a difference between being forced to watch it and for him to ask for something scary to watch.
Yeah.
Well, so let's everybody understand, when we watch a movie in the Nass household, we strap ourselves into the clockwork orange chairs and we put the little things in our eyes that prevent us from closing them. So we go like that. And then we have a crew of people that will randomly put drops of saline in our eyes so that we can't close it. Now, of course, I'm kidding. No, like literally I put Pitch Black on and they're talking about Riddick the serial killer and he just passed out. He's like, nope, this isn't doing it for me. He just said, instead of watching this, I'm just going to fall asleep.
I'm curious, have you ever considered watching Hellboy?
We've watched Hellboy. The second one.
Have you watched the second one?
Yeah, we watched the second one. The second one's very good.
Yeah,
very
I like
good.
both of them, but
yeah. So that's God, like that's one of those comic book characters that doesn't necessarily translate itself well. There's more nuance to him than what they portray in the video, but not so much that it's not like connectable. The other one is Preacher. Preacher had a TV, somebody tried to make Preacher into a show. It didn't translate very well. The graphic novel is so much better. So much better. Oh my God. Go read Preacher, by the way. There's the other homework for the readers. Go read Preacher. It's really good.
I've never, I'm looking at this thing that's like the 18 or the 50 best horror movies of all time. I never heard of one called Society from 1989.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah. Most of the rest of these I've watched. Reanimator, by the way, is pretty damn good. And
Reanimator is very good. Also very schlocky.
Yeah.
That is also a schlocky video.
And you watch it and you go, well, this is fake, but it's, it's good fake. What are they going to do next? So you're kind of hooked.
Now, I will say
Sharknado.
Yeah, right. I will say if you had an older kid, I watched this in Boy Scouts and it completely revolutionized my video watching, particularly my love of zombie movies, was Dead Alive. Have you seen Dead Alive? I'm gonna blow everybody's minds on this one. So Dead Alive was a movie made in New Zealand, and it was directed by Peter Jackson. So the same director that made Lord of the Rings made the movie Dead Alive. It goes by different names in other countries. It is the goriest zombie movie you could possibly watch, but it is very comedic. It is so good. It is so good. There's so many one-liners and little shots that you will remember forever. And it is so. There's another homework point. Go watch Dead Alive. You can get your hands on it. I think the other one's Brain Dead. I think that's what it's called in other countries. So good, so good.
There's another one on this list I've never heard of called Cat People, but it's pretty old.
Cat People's on Instagram. I think that's just an Instagram hashtag.
Is it from 1942?
See, that's the other problem is
Isn't that a Broadway show? Cat People?
Well, yeah, there is. Cats, yes, but no. Cat People is completely different because I think it's
Is Mr. Mephistopheles in it?
No.
Who got that? Did anybody get that? Did that reference die?
I got it. And what about the Incredible Dr. Fives? I think that's right.
Oh, that's I don't think I've seen it, but I've definitely heard of it. That's a real thing.
Yeah, well, all of the Vincent Price ones, the old ones, that's the reason, honestly, why Michael Jackson pulled him into Thriller, because he was such a iconic person from that 60s era of horror movies.
What was it, Waxworks or Wax Museum? That was his big one?
Waxworks, I think. Wax Museum was this, I think it was almost funny.
Yeah.
And it was more about, well, it might have been him. I can't remember now because it's about killing real people and then, make him into wax figures. Yeah. But I've also seen one called Wax Museum where they go through and the wax figures in different scenes come alive and start acting as if they're part of it. And the whole Wax Museum are these torture chamber type things from different eras.
Oh, The Pit and the Pendulum. That is.
Man,
oof. Okay.
Edgar Allan Poe, man.
The movie's a bit different, but
it's based on it though.
The birds might. So some of it is pacing. So and I know
that's psychological.
Paul, you're making me self-conscious. Paul, you've fully made me self-conscious.
What?
To a 6-year-old, the birds might be too slow paced.
Yeah.
I experienced the birds.
Oh my God! Cannibal Holocaust. Somebody said Cannibal Holocaust.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what? What's the one? Oh God. Bone Hatchet. Has anybody seen Bone Hatchet? That I won't let the kids watch. That I will not let the kids watch.
No way.
Has anybody seen Bone Hatchet? Has anyone seen Bone Hatchet?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is the
I'm gonna have to say no.
Craziest movie I have ever seen. I have never seen a movie like Bone Hatchet. Bone Hatchet
We watched
is
it at work.
Holy crap.
At work.
Oh god, Kurt Russell is one of the characters. One of the is it the guy from Friends is also in it, right? David Schwimmer. David Schwimmer is in it.
David Arquette is supposedly in it.
It is Bone Tomahawk. That's it, not Bone Hatchet. Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah,
It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
We watched it in the break room at lunch at work.
Dude, not rated.
Oh yeah, no, there's no rating. There is no rating. It's bad. It's bad. Oh god, that's a vicious movie. Vicious.
Yeah,
I would say vicious is the word I would use.
Yeah, but the saving grace on it is it's a Kurt Russell movie. So
well, Kurt Russell's good. I mean, Kurt Russell's generally pretty good in everything he's in. Oh, somebody said lawnmower. If that's a reference to Dead Alive, then you got extra points.
And what about the Lawnmower Man?
Lawnmower Man? No, not for kids.
No, I know.
That's not very interesting.
Man, that was such a weird movie.
Yes,
You're talking about the one that Stephen King didn't like so much. He's like, take my name off of that.
I don't
I
know.
hate that movie.
They're
creepy. It's more creepy than anything, but like
what
in a
was
weird,
that?
not like a scary way.
What was that Stephen King like mini series that they ran that was so The Stand or something?
Oh, The Stand is so good.
And
so
the
the
Langoliers.
book is amazing. The book is very good. But like all Stephen King stuff, really good world building, really good character stuff. The ending's kind of shit.
Yeah.
Kind of shit. Like the ending on The Stand was kind of meh. I don't know. People take different approaches to it, I guess. I
tried to watch the mini series. I've tried several times. I can't really get into it. I kind of wish that
Didn't they redo it recently?
if they did, they messed it up. From
They
what I
did.
remember, they screwed it up really badly.
Oh, they put Whoopi Gold. Did they put Whoopi Goldberg in it or something?
Did she go make water? Was she the one that made go?
I
For the
didn't
people
see
that read
that
the
one.
book, they
I saw the miniseries. I liked the miniseries. I thought it was good, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big Stephen King fan, other than Stand by Me and a couple of those type of things.
So you know what? Like if we took the monster out of a traditional sense of trying to attack you, but also I think the other movie that I'm going to probably play for everybody is Twister, because technically the tornado is kind of like a monster in that. Anybody? No.
Twister's a good movie, but that's real life. It could, that almost be true.
I don't get how that's a horror movie.
Twister is kind of like a rite of passage in our house.
Cow. Another
Twister
cow.
would be
No,
good.
I think
I
it's the same
think
cow.
I think Tremors though is still going to be the one we might watch that tonight. So Ben wants to watch Star Trek. He wants to watch all the Star Trek movies. He wants to watch all of them with me, which I'm like, yes, I'm
Dude.
down. Yes.
I
Yes.
binged the first 4 movies today.
Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot most of the motion picture, and I was like, it's better than I remember.
Which
Go ahead.
you talking about, like the newer ones?
No, the original.
The original.
Oh, okay, all right. I was trying to wrap my head around which.
Yeah, well, then I hit
What
4,
are you talking
and I
about?
had to watch it because I remember watching it in theaters, even though I hated the whole premise of it.
Well, Oh,
I'm gonna do. So my son really loves Wrath of Khan. Like, of course, like Wrath of Khan is a fantastic. I think the best original series Star Trek.
Yes.
I'm actually really excited to show him the new Wrath of Khan, and then see the switch between Kirk and Spock.
Yeah,
and all
the
that.
original's so much better.
Oh, of course.
And when you
of
watch
course.
1, 2, and 3 back to back to back, you're like, oh wow, it's like okay. I know there was a little bit of time between 1 and 2, but it's like 2, 3, and even 4 must have been filmed in rapid succession because, like, because
They
well,
weren't.
no,
They were filmed later. Like, so if you compare and contrast just Shatner from the motion picture to the second, he's aged considerably. Shatner in the first one is much younger.
But that was what, 79 was the first one, and then when was Wrath of Khan? 82.
Well, he got the Obama effect, I guess, then when he came out of to make the third one because he looked a lot older.
2, 3, and 4, like literally where 2 ends, where Wrath of Khan ends, and Search for Spock begins. Search for Spock begins with with almost the ending of 2. Like they literally rehash it. They
That's
replay
true.
that.
No, you're right.
Little,
Yeah.
And then the same kind of thing happens going from 3 to 4. Although, come on, everybody knows that Saving the Whales was a big thing back in 1985 or whatever.
Yeah,
but I mean, they were still on after they, got Spock. Spoilers here. After they got Spock on Vulcan, and they got the his Katra out of Bones. Again, I just watched it today. So, it ends and they're on Vulcan, right?
Right.
4 starts off. They're on Vulcan still with that ship. So it's like,
yeah.
Literally are so connected. It's
Now,
like 2, 3, and 4.
I have to say, like I as a kid or as a younger person, I didn't really like 3 that much, but watching it again, I actually really appreciated parts of it. In fact, the scene on the bus with the punk rock guy that Spock reaches out. Did you know that the same guy plays the same character on the bus, like when they did the new Star Trek? It's the same guy.
He's playing an old guy now, or what?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's really actually kind of funny, but there was, yeah. So everybody who says that Patrick Stewart best captain, he might be second. Do you know who the best one is? Cisco. That's the best captain.
You like Cisco?
Yes.
Yeah, DS9. I like DS9 because
best captain. No question.
They took the reins off, and they kind of let the whole, especially once the Dominion War began and all that stuff, and when they brought Worf over.
It goes, Deep Space Nine goes from being like, who's the new thing that Odo's fighting in the space station, like the freak of the week, to like the highest level intergalactic war that's ever existed, and Cisco is at the helm. Like, it is wild. Deep Space Nine is nuts. Like, nuts. Once the Defiant shows up,
once the Defiant shows up,
it's on. It's on.
And you really have to watch that from the beginning, all the way through, because there's so much going on episode to episode, and it builds over that whole arc.
But he is right though. The first season or 2 was kind of the.
Yeah, it was.
Who's the bad guy of the week thing?
Yeah, it was introduced.
It had a rough start. Well, it's fine. It's fine, but it's like it turns into more of like the Hercules action-packed hour to me. Mm-hmm. Like it has that feel. Like it's just But then when it turns into the Dominion War and it really opens up, then you're like, holy crap! Like we're on the edge of space. And you're literally doing real politicking with alien species, unlike this ship that comes in and out every once in a while and does something like, an exploration Federation ship. But no, DS9 was like legit.
Yeah, and that's what I did not like
Yeah,
about
seriously.
about the Next Generation. It just there was no character arc really.
Well, next generation, you had to really get past season. I want to say season 3.
So what do we know about when Riker gets the beard? When Riker puts the beard on, that's when the Next Generation is good.
I'm sorry. Right. Every time Q is on the screen, that's it for me. I'm done. And
Deanna was it? Not Deanna. What's her name? Crosby. Ben Crosby.
Lieutenant Yar was what her.
Yeah, Lieutenant Yar.
She's dead after like the first season, though.
Yeah,
but she comes back later on. Tasha Yar.
Yeah,
but her character that returns later on when she's like the great granddaughter or whatever, of the Romulans.
Oh that's right. She comes
by the
back
Romulans
as the Romulans
in that time split thing, and that she nailed that one. She was goofy at first. I didn't like her.
So I'm not at the point.
Any of them really.
It's wild to me, Don, that you don't like that. So that's the thing that like I can't wait for when I get to sit down with Ben and when he realizes we're not there yet because he hasn't started playing D&D or anything like that. But when I get to sit down with him, when I get to sit down with him, and I go, guess what, Ben? Star Trek is just D&D in space. Like the Klingons are dwarves, the Vulcans are elves, the Dark Elves are Romulans. Like everything is just a direct parallel translation. That's all it is. Like someone cracked a book, and they turned fantasy into space. That's all this is. That's all it is.
Here's a good example. The Ferengi, when they first encountered them early on in Next Generation, versus the Ferengi in DS9.
Well, Ferengi were supposed to be the big bad guy in Next Generation.
And
that was supposed to be the whole thing.
They weren't.
Well, but they were supposed to be, but then it turned out being the Borg. The Ferengi were supposed to be the new Klingon. Like Klingon was the bad guy of the first Star Trek, and the Ferengi were supposed to be the new bad guy, and that's why they were played so hard in the first and second season. But then they went, no, the Borg is actually the real bad guy, and that's when the Locutus stuff and all that happened.
Then you also had when they abducted Kirk, or not Kirk, when they
Locutus.
Abducted
That was the Locutus. That was the reference of the Locutus.
No. I'm talking about when the
Cardassians.
The Cardassians.
Sorry. Yeah, no, Cardassian, not Kardashians. You get in trouble.
I said Cardassians.
I did. I did too. Yeah.
I said Cardassians.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But when the Cardassians, when they abducted him, and was it Gul Dukat? I think that.
Isn't Gul Dukat from DS9?
Yes.
He may have crossed a couple though, because we got to remember it was the Cardassians that had occupied Bajor, and then they left Bajor.
The space station
is shambles.
The space station is Cardassian in origin. Like that's the DS9 space station is Cardassian.
But it was in Bajoran space and all that stuff.
Right.
But I think there was some crossover with Gul Dukat and I want to say it was Gul Dukat. I'll Google it now.
It might be, because at one point I think those two were running
there was 3
simultaneous.
Shows.
Yeah,
there was Next Generation was still in production. Voyager was on and DS9 were on all at the same time. There was like 3 seasons or so when that was like crossover.
Right, and they did some crossover, but
that's what they did. They basically, once TNG ended, they moved Worf over to DS9.
But
DS9
y'all keep talking about the big bad, but then they kept throwing Q in there every season, and it's like,
I don't dislike Q as much as you do.
Well, he's super powerful in all of this, and he's just way beyond everything, and yet they end up tricking him every time. And I got so sick of that one storyline that they've repeated over and over and over again. It's like,
it's because they lost in their evolution what made humanity unique. Kind of the same thing that the Vulcans.
I couldn't watch it long enough to care about that.
Yeah, well, okay.
Well, so you watched Picard then, right? Did you watch Picard?
Me, no.
Don, no. Okay. So I heard the third season of Picard's fantastic. The first and second suck.
Until the ending, from what I heard. But again, watching the 4 movies back to back today, especially 4 when they're talking about how back in the 20th century, it was very popular to use this profanity and blah 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 when they're on the bus scene in the bus, or and when they're in San Francisco in 1985, and then for them to do what they did in Picard, where they're dropping the F-bomb everywhere, and it's like that's not Star Trek.
Yeah, and I liked Enterprise, but when they had that one that they started on Paramount, and I've forgotten what it was, I watched a season of it, and that's supposed to take place even before this, or before the first Enterprise.
Oh, you're talking about the first new one that I made it.
I didn't watch it.
And that was it.
Yeah, and you got
STD,
the thing,
Star Trek Discovery, STD.
Yeah, and the thing that really bothered me about that is all of these newer aliens that are on these ships that never show up in any of the other series. It's like that doesn't even make sense. Like that weird tall dude with the real skinny that was supposedly the second in command, or became second in command. That alien, it's like, why are we introducing new aliens here, and we're just now finding the Klingons, but yet these guys who are our friends now never show up in any of the other shows.
Well, the Andorians, I mean, in the original series, the Andorians we had animosity against.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't at war with them like we were with the Romulans or the Klingons, but they certainly didn't trust us, and we didn't trust them. We kind of were two sides of the same coin, looking at each other with suspicion.
Right.
Wait, are you talking about Star Trek Discovery or Star Trek Strange New Worlds? Because I've heard good things about Strange New Worlds.
I have too, but it's on Paramount, and I've given up on Paramount doing anything good with Star Trek.
Oh, it's got Lower Decks.
Oh, Lower Decks.
Yeah, I
is
haven't
horrible.
watched that either.
The USS Cerritos. Yes, let's go. My most boring town is what is named after that ship.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, my town, the USS Cerritos. Somebody said, "Hey, that's a really boring town. It's very multicultural, but also very boring. Let's make a whole ship based off of it." Awesome.
I did play like the first 30 seconds or a minute of 5, which is the one where they. What does God need with the starship?
All right, so I'm going to take it to an equally nerdy but different, slightly tangent. Who's excited for the new Dune movie? I'm so in.
I am, but I'm waiting until it comes out so I can watch the first one in theaters again.
Oh man! Oh, you didn't watch any of them? Oh man!
I didn't watch the first one.
Yeah, I didn't either until
because I
recently.
knew it was going to be a 2-parter, and I did not want to see one movie and wait 2 years to watch it.
I think it better be more than 2 movies, because I think looking at what's coming in the second movie, I still don't think they're going far enough into the.
Well, they're going to wrap up. It's just one book. They're just doing the first book.
They're doing Dune.
They're doing
the
Dune.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because the way the first one's paced, it seems like they could break it into 3 movies to get through the one book. And I think they could do that.
Probably could do a trilogy, but I think trilogies are kind of wearing on people right now.
Well, that may be, but when you're telling a deep story, sometimes it's necessary.
I would rather have a longer movie. I would rather have 2 longer movies than 3 shorter, movies.
Yeah, I don't think any of these are going to be short. Because Dune, I mean, look at the size of Dune. Look how big it is and how much is in it.
Well,
I honestly don't even remember how many of the books I read anymore.
What's his name did it in one movie? Why can't we just do that?
Yeah.
David,
You're talking about the one that
David
Picard
Lynch.
was in?
David Lynch or David?
I enjoyed that. I'm sorry.
Was
I did too. I loved it.
Was Sting in that one?
Picard was in it.
David
Picard
Bowie.
was in it.
I know.
Yes.
I said that already. I said
and Sting was in
Picard.
it.
Yeah.
And no, David Bowie wasn't in that one. David Bowie was in.
Yeah, he was.
Was Bowie?
No,
and
David
Sting?
Bowie? No,
Bowie
Sting
was
was in
doing something else. He was doing one of the. With the Muppets.
Labyrinth.
Dark Crystal.
Labyrinth.
Was it Dark?
No.
Oh, Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Okay.
Yeah, Labyrinth. Oh, Labyrinth is good.
Mm-hmm. There
Well,
you go. There's your monster movie.
My 3D print is almost done, so I can show you all what I've accomplished.
gotta get
It's a
one of
10-hour print. It's just about finished. And there's a lot of supports. Let me just say that. There's a lot of supports to be able to make this happen.
Yeah. So are you using what kind of printer is it?
Ah, yes. All right. So I will bring up.
Somebody missed the stream.
Back up the. Yeah, he did. He did. obviously. So I purchased a Bamboo P1P. It is the so basically I'll rehash this a bit for all 5 of you that are watching live, but so this printer is basically the same. It's Sony Guts. It's the Sony Guts argument of printers. It has the same capabilities in it that the $1,200 printer has. It doesn't have the LiDAR capability and some of the other advanced features that, to be honest, you don't really need. It just prints. It just works. I don't have to do anything other than I did one thing. I was doing PLA, and the PLA wasn't doing that great, and all I did was bump it from 30C to 50, and then once I hit it to 50C, everything sticks on this build plate. It's perfect. It is perfect. I don't have to do anything. I just print.
Do you have a what do they call the liquid resin? The
No.
resin-based ones.
I don't.
Have you tried any of those? No.
No, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Do I have proper ventilation? Yeah, I mean, like my entire space is completely
Is it-
ventilated.
Is it glass? Is it a glass plate or?
No, it's metal plate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got mine is glass over metal, but
So this plate actually uses magnets to hold it in spot, and there are the plates can flip depending on what temperature that you're doing. I actually just bought a new plate so I can do PET G is what I'm going to be switching over to. PET G is a little bit more resistant than PLA and stronger. So I have a couple of parts that I have to build for PET G that are going to be ham radio related and all that stuff.
How's its UV? The UV on the PET?
none of them are very good.
ABS is good on UV.
I have some that I've had out for a while, and it hasn't made much difference what I print them with. And they last for quite. I have one out that's been out for in the rain, the heat, and everything for over 2 years.
So
and it's still fine.
I'm thinking.
I don't know, but I've heard that they get brittle and break eventually.
The reason I'm looking at resin, I want to paint some minis, and I don't think you can get the resolution on the I don't want to call it a string trimmer. What's the real term for it?
What?
For the kind that has the reels as opposed to the resin ones. MDF, no MF. What are they called?
I don't know.
MF Doom.
Everything.
MF Doom. That's what we're running.
MF Doom.
And everything that I've used has reels. I've never seen one that doesn't.
Oh no, they have resin printers too.
Yeah, but these are
But the resin printers you can get like uber high resolution, but they have to build.
I don't know. There's a guy that paints minis. I watch this one D&D thing, and the guy paints minis all the time, and he does everything 3D printed with regular like PET G and stuff, and it looks fine.
Yeah, PET G's fine. You can print minis crazy on PET G. I mean,
And-
most of the time when you scale it down, I mean, most of them are all scaled down. You're fine with most of it. It depends on how small your nozzle is, and if that printer is actually good at running at that smaller nozzle. That's the big thing.
Yeah, it's got to have enough heat, as I recall.
See, that was always what I had heard. Is so the difference is you can get the really, really, really high resolution with the resin, but the problem is they're messy.
Well,
they're much more messy than the other ones.
Yeah, so with resin you have to oh God, somebody will correct me in the chat, but you basically have to submerge it in liquid to deactivate the resin. Oh, we're done. Print's done. I'm gonna go grab it. But you have to like de-resin it. You have to deactivate it with the all the different stuff that's
Well,
in
you
there.
have to wash it and then you have to harden it too.
Right.
You
Yeah,
harden it sometimes because they're not.
All right.
They could be liquid still inside.
I'm going to flip the camera over here so you can see my print. So I'm going to go grab it right now. So I'm going to try and grab the plate and see if it comes off all in one shot. Otherwise, I'll just grab the piece because the plate's going to pop it loose. So hold on.
Yeah, mine, I've always had problems with sticking, but then I increased the temperature on it too. Not by much, and it does a lot better. But I still use glue or whatever that glue stick, and it works great because when you're ready to get the glue stick off, just regular water and it'll come right off.
Yeah, somebody in the restream I see here. Resin is liquid, yes, and UV light in general will harden it too. So a lot of people just set them outside, but you have to rinse them off first.
So this is Koopa from the Mario movie for Edison.
Was that a good movie? Did you enjoy that?
I did. Well, I mean, it's definitely nostalgia bait. It is super nostalgia bait. But I liked it. So this is Koopa on the piano playing Peach, and all this stuff is like it's all breakaway.
Somebody
supports.
asked a ham question about 3D printing. Did you see
Oh,
that?
how dare
What are you
you?
going to print for a ham radio? And there's a lot of things people print for ham radio.
Yeah.
I've printed a ton of stuff already, like winders.
Yeah, and the guys right now on Coffee and Ham Radios are printing, and it's not just them. Michael, also KB9VBR, are printing a lot of parts for Moxons and building antennas with Moxon or with 3D printed center posts. And but there's a reason why, like on the Coffee and Ham Radio stuff, that they do not sell you a 3D printed winder, because those do not last.
Anyway, so I get to break off all these support structures. So many supports. Oh my God.
I got this box one time that I built, that I've 3D printed, and there were so many supports in it, I literally couldn't get them off in it to the point that it would look good after they were all off.
I think that's one of the other things that a lot of people like about the resin printers is that you can sometimes get away with less supports because of the way it prints them. But you have to slice it and put your supports in different spots because you're literally upside down on most of those.
I mean, just take a look at the surfaces. Like, so this is the top of the piano, and then obviously King Koopa, Bowser, like the shell. This is the quality of the print. Like, it is insanely good.
My wife would love that.
It is so good.
He's playing a piano, right?
So how quickly? Yeah, he's playing a piano. So if you watch the movie, he does a song called Peaches.
Man, I don't know.
Which is played by Jack Black.
Right.
Jack Black.
Yeah.
Jack Black. Oh my God. So I will say that most of the actors in that movie were just cashing a check. Like all of them were just cashing a check. But then Jack Black showed up and like, no, I'm gonna play the hell out of this role. Like Bowser is really good in the movie. He's the best character, like no question. Really, really good. So there was another question of how quickly out of the box are you printing? Probably 15 minutes. It was very fast. There's a bunch of already preloaded prints that you can build off. Like they have a benchy, like you can print a benchy. You can build a little scraper for scraping off the build plate, but you really don't need anything to scrape the build plate. You just take it off and bend it, and it just pops everything off.
I don't know how you're going to get those supports off around his mouth. And get them
that's
off
easy.
and look clean.
No, they don't hold on very strongly. You just have to go in there and just pop them off. Supports are easy to come off. They just take time. If you want, I'm probably going to wrap up here because I got to go take care of the dog. But if you want one of the best movies that Jack Black has ever starred in, definitely not okay for kids. It's called High Fidelity. That is one of the best movies he's ever been in.
School of Rock.
Did I tell you I
High Fidelity's better.
Linus? I asked Linus on a live stream if he was a ham.
No. What did he say?
He's like, well, first of all, I was getting something off the store anyways, and I figured that like I'd just do a message. But the guy read the thing to him during the live stream. He's like, what? And then he's like, do you think I have time for hobbies?
Yeah.
He
does.
Then he was like, but it does seem like the kind of thing I would have really gotten into. So,
I'm gonna bug Linus. Oh my God, I'm gonna start tweeting Linus here. Linus, I'll come to Canada, man. I'll come up.
I'll post a link up in the podcast thing.
He did do a thing on ham radio.
He did. He had one of the biggest videos on ham radio for quite a while. And then I think many other videos of creators that actually make ham radio videos kind of took over. But he did a good crack at it. He did.
The ones that I always suspected should have been hams, and I was surprised, was the guys from Mythbusters.
Meow.
At least one.
Did he just hop into meow and then leave? You son of a.
Who did that? What?
It was freaking Connor.
Oh yeah.
Adam Savage, I can't necessarily see being a ham, but Jamie I would be shocked if Jamie didn't have his ham radio license. I would be shocked.
The one that died.
Grant Imahara. Grant Imahara, I could see also.
Yes, absolutely.
Grant Imahara, I could see totally having a ham license. Totally having.
Have you seen Alan Pan stuff?
Oh yeah, I love Alan Pan. I love all those guys. All of those guys.
He got the rights to like sell their merchandise.
Whose?
Mythbusters. Like he got like somehow managed to like get the rights to like sell Mythbusters merchandise.
What is that? David Zaslav selling off everything?
Some kind of whole weird thing that like they dropped the ball on like the trademark or something somehow, and he like bought it.
Because I subscribe to Tested, but I only watch. No offense against the young kid that does every other video.
The young kids.
Yeah, the Asian kid. I don't.
Why is he got to be Asian?
You ain't got. I'm being. Shut up.
I'm kidding.
But
there you go.
You know, because he's so much younger than me. That's why I guess I don't really find his. I love watching Adam fidget and fiddle, and just when he does his YouTube videos, it's just, you know, they're fascinating.
Oh,
you know.
So
some of them are.
I gotta say, if I had the viewership that Adam does with him just fucking around in his shack, oh my God, I'd be able to make 1,000 videos. Like, I'd just be futzing around. That's what he does in all his videos. He just futzes around. I'm like, oh my God.
But did you see the one recently where there was a glass blower, and I guess this goes back like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
This guy made like some impossible thing. It's like, I forget what it's called, but it's basically like a 4-dimensional theoretical type object. And somebody said, yeah, don't waste your time trying to make one. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, that's a challenge. And made 2. And sent them both to Adam for him to come up with some sort of way of framing them. And then he almost dropped one of them. And they're like one-of-a-kind objects, you know?
Yeah.
Raise something or other.
I do like Adam. I feel like he is much more attuned to my wavelength. Jamie actually reminds me of my buddy Dave, which if you go back to way long ago in my YouTube, Wild Dave or Crazy Dave is in a couple of my videos, and Jamie is like Dave, but Dave has a much better disposition than Jamie. So I think I'm more like Adam than anything personally, but yeah.
See, that's my thing. Is I think I'm more like Adam, but I have some of Jamie's traits. But I probably would get along better with Jamie.
I don't know that anybody gets along better
No,
than Jamie.
because I can be grumpy old man too.
I posted a link in the live stream chat for the where
okay.
I asked him if he was a ham.
Let's see it. Let's watch it.
What about the Tim Allen special
Message.
event station?
Yeah, sure thing. Let's see. We've got a couple here. Linus, are you a ham radio operator?
What? Sorry, what was the question?
A ham radio operator.
Am I a ham radio operator?
Yes.
No. Do you think I have time for hobbies? No, I mean, it looks like exactly the kind of hobby that like teenage me would think is super cool, but I have never gotten into it. Sorry to disappoint you if you heard someone on
I'm disappointed, Linus.
ham airwaves that sounded like me or something like that.
That's pretty good.
Consider making an
I hope people Googled ham radio after they saw him say that, though.
Well, you know what? If it did, hey, kudos. Maybe we got some more people coming in the hobby.
Guerrilla marketing for ham radio.
I like it. Well done. Well done. All right, I got to wrap up here because I got to go take care of my dog. Make sure I fed her and I got to get her water and everything because she did get, what is that? Female dog, so that'd be neutered.
No, that's spayed.
Is it spayed? Oh, yeah, so
Yeah,
50-50.
spayed.
Flip the coin. I flipped it wrong. So there you go. Bob Barker is very upset with me right now.
I got to decide if I want to get nudicles for my
Oh,
chihuahua.
nudicles. That's right.
Remember those?
That's right. So yeah,
I'll
it
bet
is
you could
spayed.
3D print 'em.
Thank you. So that's a good way to remember it is actually nudicles. Yeah, you could 3D print a nudicle. Yeah, you could absolutely do that.
I'm sure. I don't know if it'd be pharmaceutical grade.
No, we have flexible, flexible filament. You could definitely do that. That's a thing. Yeah.
TPU.
On that happy note, I'm bailing.
Paul, thanks for hanging out, buddy. Take it easy, and thank you for being the voice of reason, sir. Thank you for being the voice of reason.
Okay.
I gotta say, you being the voice of reason on a live stream scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I should never be the voice of reason.
But you know, it's an interesting. You bring different viewpoints to it.
No, I think he has the best intentions for my son in his heart, and that's the most important
absolutely
thing. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, Paul, are you
Sure.
going to Huntsville by any chance? Are you going to be there?
I am not going to.
Yeah,
Huntsville. I will be. I'm leaving the U.S. for a little bit and traveling. So
good for you,
We'll
buddy.
be gone a good chunk of August and September.
Well, I'll definitely see you in
operating
person.
while you're overseas?
Oh yeah.
I am not. I am
come on,
vacationing while I'm overseas. See, here's the thing. I actually, when I go away, I go away. I love ham radio. Tonight with the HO, I live in an HOA, so it's like I was thinking first, is that Alfie antenna any good? And can I attach that to my gutters? And I realized I just replaced all the gutters with vinyl gutters, so I'm kind of screwed there. But yeah, no, I thought about it, but I'm going to be in Europe and the Middle East, and I'm not sure that I want to carry radios with me.
Well, take lots of pictures.
No, I probably won't take any pictures.
Jesus.
But
all right.
It's getting through security and that kind of stuff.
Well,
I just don't want to hassle with it.
You watch Walt's videos, right?
Who's Walt?
Coastal Waves and Wires.
No, I do not.
He's been in Poland for the last 2 years, on and off, and he travels over there.
Poland's actually a beautiful place. It's
Well,
a beautiful country.
Probably a little more radio friendly too, I imagine.
It's much more radio friendly.
He said that pretty much all of the European countries have reciprocals, and it's not hard.
Yeah, but it's like I'm going to
Yeah, and if you're traveling around and going place to place, then it's
Yeah.
not. And
Yeah,
because
it's
he was
like,
there,
what's the radio for?
6 weeks at a time.
Yeah, we'll be gone for a few weeks, so I'm looking forward to it. I just,
Oh yeah.
But it's like anything else. You just, when we go away, we kind of relax and see family, and that part of it is difficult because you go there and then you come back and you go, well, I wish I didn't have to come back, but you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Don's coming, right? Don, you're gonna make it
To Huntsville, yes.
awesome.
Not to the Middle East, no.
Next year,
I didn't expect. Well, hey, I'm just happy to get you into.
He's going to Huntsville, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They have their own rocket museum there.
Yeah, I already got
different
my,
kind of rocket.
Different kind of rocket.
I already got my hotel reservations, and I think when I'm looking at it now, when I leave and when I arrive, I'm probably going to get there a day before I actually book the hotel. So
you can call them.
Anyway,
straighten that
I'll have
out.
to go
You can
back
straighten
and
that
look.
out.
I always
fast.
Day
forget.
before is probably easy. It's the day
I think
of or the day after.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure I'm in cabin 1. I have to look again though.
because I leave I need to look again my vacation, but I believe I'll be leaving on Monday. On so what is that? The 14th or 15th, and I'm thinking. Or originally I was thinking, well, it'll take me 3 days to get there, but no, it won't. And so
2 days maybe.
yeah, so I'll probably be there on Tuesday. Well,
It's an easy drive too.
Yeah, and well, I want to stop at a park somewhere along the way, and I activate a park.
There are a few.
Are you going to drive
Yeah.
to I-10 out until you hit like 65 and then take that up?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I'll plan the route out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to check with Jason because Jason's heading out there too.
He's
I
going to be out
don't
there
know when
early. He's going to be out
Yeah.
there early.
But yeah, that's the thing, and I don't know when he was leaving, but yeah, if he's already out there, then I'll just do it myself. But
I thought about taking a detour and deliberately driving to the original bottling plant for Kyle's favorite drink.
Oh, Sun Drop.
Sun Drop.
Yeah.
Sun Drop.
And getting him some merchandise or something. They apparently have a cafe there that you could buy and get food and desserts, and then you can get
All right, I got to go, guys. I'm wrapping up.
All right.
7-3.
Thank you, everybody on the Discord. Take it easy. I
See y'all
will talk
later.
to you real soon. See ya. All right, everybody on the YouTubes and everywhere else I'm live streaming, I have finished my 3D print, and so now I have to free it of its it's all green. It's all green. I didn't even think about that. So it's Koopa playing a piano, so I've got to free it from the structure supports. Structure supports break off really easy. It's for my younger son, the one we were talking about earlier, the 6-year-old. But if you just look at Koopa's back, and let me lower it. So look at the quality of the prints. They're like really, really good. Like the little flecks and bends and all that in there. So good. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you again 1 week, but we'll be posting videos, and so probably shoot a video tomorrow and try and edit some San Clemente stuff. I still don't know if I'm going to do the San Clemente in 1 shot or 2. There's so much video and just like talking about what it was like on the island, and I hope you're excited for that. But anyway, I will. So SLA versus FDM. Somebody's asking a question. Good question. Oh God. See, acronyms. Watch my video on acronyms. FDM is somebody. God, just give me the acronyms. SLA. I don't got it. I'll wait until I get the acronyms. See, guys, I have problems with acronyms too. Fused deposition versus stereolithography. Lithography. I think it's fused deposition, right? Because it's a layered 3D print, so it's a build up. It's a buildup. It's filament. It's all filament. See, Talray, that's exactly what you do. That's exactly how you do it. But we're wrapping it up with, like, seriously, like, the most important thing. Fuse filament, right? Fuse filament. Resin bath versus filament. That is a fuse filament. It's a vertical buildup with filament versus a resin, which they use light to fuse, like, or to harden parts of the model. That's the big difference between the two printer types. I was saying most people don't do resin, but I know a lot of people are doing resin now, so I can't say most exactly, but I think that's still probably accurate. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching, and hey, I'll talk to you real soon. Enjoy the memes. I'll play you out. 73. Take it easy. See ya.